Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
Welcome everyone to WWE Aftershock Week 38. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch and I'm here with...
Chris.
Your first time on in a while, by the way. I think you were on a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know. It just feels like 2 weeks ago was a long time. I don't know why. It just feels like time is moving so fast. But how do you feel being back?
Good. Feel great.
I feel like because you've done less shows recently because you've been so busy, and all that type of stuff. I always notice you miss like the weeks too where it's very news heavy and all that type of stuff. You missed a big week last week because of how news heavy it was. So
yeah,
a lot of stuff went down last week.
A lot of stuff.
I don't know if you saw the show was. It's kind of a good thing you weren't on. The show was 2 hours, almost 2 hours alone with just me doing it because I reviewed the shows and then I
got to the releases and shit.
Yeah, I had to cover all that stuff.
Oh, a lot of those. There was a lot of news last week.
Yeah,
releases.
But
everything.
Yeah, we're just gonna. It's a less news heavy week, but we're just.
There's one big news. There's the one huge news item.
But we'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, we're just gonna cover the shows as typical. We're gonna follow house show rules. I'm gonna start with main event first, just because why not? It's taped the same day as Raw, so we'll start with main event first. Main event took place on September 27th, 2023. We had the commentary team of Byron Saxton and Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett just hates commentating with Byron Saxton. He wishes he was like anywhere else, but it is what it is. I noticed that you would have thought Michael Cole would have just taken over the commentary duties in main event. You notice he's not commentating main events. He's got better things to do with his life. So
yeah, then commentate that fucking show.
We had 2 matches on the show. The first one was Indy Hartwell versus Kaden Carter. Pretty solid match right here. Indy Hartwell won with like a full Nelson into like a face buster. I think this was botched because Kaden Carter kicked out right after 3, and she was clearly supposed to kick out, but she missed the time on the kick out. But I'm not sure if it was a botch or not because they showed the replay. Usually, if it's a botch, they don't show the replay, but they did this time. But clearly, I think Kaden Carter was supposed to kick out, but she mistimed the kick out. I think Indy Hartwell always was gonna win, but yeah, it was really weird. They shook hands and were good sports about it afterwards, but yeah, this match was pretty solid, I guess. Then the main event was Xia Li versus Nikki Cross. Pretty good match right here. Nikki Cross won with the Purge. And yeah, Nikki Cross just won. There was no chance Xia Li was winning this match. Overall, that was pretty solid. Main event was alright. I'll give it like a C. Pretty okay. Nothing offensive. You could just sit down and watch it. But yeah, it just kind of was what it was. So.
Main event?
Yeah.
Main eventy.
I mean, we still need main event Jay to show up. He's main event Jay. He's not showing up on main event. What's going on there? So,
he's got issues not showing up on main event because he was main event Jey Uso.
Yep. So then we had Raw. This Raw took place on September 25th, 2023. And we had the commentary team of Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. And Cody Rhodes comes out to do a promo. He finally actually gets to talk. He doesn't get to talk for very long, but he gets to talk for longer than he has been about this Jey Uso nonsense that's going on and everything like that. He talks about how the reason that he vouched for Jey Uso to be on Raw was because he feels like Jey Uso deserves a second chance. He talks about how when he left the company high and dry, he was kind of an outsider when he came in, and he feels like Jey Uso's the same way. While he's not an outsider in terms of, coming into the company from another company type of thing, but he's an outsider because he was with the Bloodline and not a lot of people can trust him. And he threw a story beat in there for the first time in a while, where he mentions that they're not in the third inning anymore, which is a reference that the tribal chief better start getting worried, type of thing. Because I think now it's pretty obvious. It looks like Cody's going to be the plan. Now, obviously, especially with the writer's strike ended, I know the actors are still on strike, but I guarantee you that it's looking less likely of a chance.
After strike is over, so
yeah. So we're probably not going to see The Rock at WrestleMania now. There's just no. I feel like there's no shot of that now.
Yeah, I mean he could still like host it and whatnot, but I think as far as like, fantasy booking him to wrestle at Mania,
yeah, I think like there's no chance.
They've said countless times now that there's no plans for him to wrestle at WrestleMania, so I don't think that's happening. I think there was a slim chance that it could have happened this year for WrestleMania 40. I think it was a slim chance that might have happened.
But now that the strike is over, I think there's no chance now. So
yeah, there's no considering the fact his last actual wrestling match was like I don't even know fucking how long ago. He could be eager to get back in the ring, but if I was, since he probably has a lot of upcoming movies too, now that the strike's over, seems like he could have a lot of movie roles coming up. So I wonder if they were like in his ear going, "Hey, no wrestling, no actual wrestling. Good host, but no actual wrestling."
Yeah, I think the only reason Cena's going to stick around for this long is because I think I've talked about this before. Well, I actually haven't talked about this before because the strike wasn't over, but I think the only reason Cena's sticking around is because the match at Fastlane was already booked pretty much before the strike ended. I don't think Cena's just going to leave, especially too because the event sold out and with everyone anticipating Cena was going to be there. So that's why I think Cena's sticking. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Cena's gone after Fastlane type of thing. So
I wouldn't be surprised either, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he stayed around and didn't do any acting.
Yeah.
Because he seems like the type of person that's like, yeah, he at least has one match or two matches or three matches a year. So it's like he's inclined, like he's still wrestling somewhat. So it wouldn't surprise me if he stayed semi full time and didn't do any acting for the next 6 to 7 months, probably, like until after Mania season's over.
Especially too, this is like his last chance. This is probably going to be like the last full one. Not full, obviously, where he can just show up and all that type of stuff, probably ever. So I feel like he should take that opportunity. So, but anyhow, going back to Cody. So yeah, Cody says but yeah, it looks like Cody's going to be the priority. And again, I think it's less complicated if you just do Cody versus Roman because I think it's probably time. It is time to end that title reign, especially with the Bloodline storyline as we've seen recently is kind of starting to get a little stale. So I think it's time to end that storyline, especially with how less frequent Roman's been on recently. So I'm hoping that they go with the original plan and do Cody versus Roman at Mania next year, but we'll see. But anyhow, and of course, he gets interrupted again by the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day come out, and they talk about how appalled they are at Cody Rhodes for sending Jey Uso over there, and then he doesn't even join Judgment Day. And they talk about, how Cody made the save, but he pretty much dug his grave, and he talks about how there's still a chance they couldn't trust Jey Uso since he turned them down, and, Jey's the reason he didn't win the title and all that type of stuff. So Judgment Day are about to get into the win, and then Jey Uso runs out, and by the way, there's still no Rhea Ripley. She's still selling the injuries of when she was written off a couple weeks ago. So there you go. I imagine she's probably going to be off till after Fastlane, unless she shows up this week, but we'll see. But yeah, it's still 3-on-2. So obviously the numbers still on still on Cody and Jay's favor. But then from the crowd comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and the numbers are now in the babyface's favor. So the Judgment Day pretty much take a powder. They're about to leave. But then JD McDonough comes out, and he hands a steel chair to Finn Balor. And they go to the ring. And Damian Priest is trying to talk him out of it, realizing that, we don't have to do this right now. And they get into the ring. And they still get their ass kicked, even though they had weapons and everything like that. But they made a mistake. They made the mistake going underneath the ring too, because it kind of stopped them from using the weapons. Because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn stomp on the weapons, so they can't use them or anything like that. And Damian Priest is skeptical. He's like, what is he gonna do? So instead, he decides to go down there, and because of that, he ends up being in the ring by himself at one point, and the babyfaces just stomp a mud hole into him, just completely beat the crap out of him. And this ties into the what goes on later in the show type of thing. But overall, I like this segment. We're definitely going to get some sort of 8-man tag, it seems like, at Fastlane between these guys, which I think would be awesome. A lot of people are predicting War Games, which, I wouldn't mind, but it's I feel like we need to kind of stop, at least, not the Judgment Day stuff, but I feel like everyone kind of needs to move on from the Judgment Day. Like, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been feuded with Judgment Day, I think, since they pretty much went to Raw. So it's we need to kind of do something new. So I kind of hope they just do an 8-man tag at Fastlane, and then that's it. But we'll see. But overall, I liked this stuff. It continues the feud between Kevin Owens and Jey Uso, because there's still not that... There was kind of a look that Kevin Owens and Jey Uso gave to each other that they still didn't trust. But, overall, how did you feel about this segment?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It really... I just liked it. I thought that, the baby faces kind of needed a sort of a win in this feud a little bit, so to get the numbers back in their favor again. Jey Uso is awesome. I think he's been really good.
He has.
And then Cody just keeps getting interrupted, and of course by the fucking worst son on the whole fucking planet. And he just can't talk.
No, he
that's
can't.
Fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
You fucking don't allow him to talk. He's a little bitch. And then JD comes out to even the odds, and I found it kind of funny that he only brought out 2 steel chairs. He gave it right to Finn. I was like,
yeah. So
I was like, Damian hates you, so why not just give him the chair instead? And then that's kind of like an olive branch. Like, hey, I brought it open for you specifically. Instead, he gets Finn.
Well, more of an olive branch doesn't need. He got a brand new briefcase because of JD McDonough. So.
And he still hates him.
Yeah, he still hates him.
But yeah, I like this. It was a really good segment overall.
Cody did mention there's still a trade that's supposed to go down, Obviously, that's going to be the big one. Yeah. I mean, we know who's getting traded, but, they're clearly waiting on... Especially, too, because they just released... I think Raw's lacking a top star because they just released a big star for Raw, so I think that's why they're going to keep Cody on Raw a little longer than they probably originally planned. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I imagine Cody's going to finish out Raw. I don't know how much more... Because I feel like Cody will still be on Raw even after Fastlane. I think, beginning of December, he'll probably be, on SmackDown. Maybe after Survivor Series, just because,
Oh, after Survivor Series, definitely.
I think they need... Because Raw needs star power at the moment, type of thing. They have a lot of star power, but I think, it would be a big loss for Cody to go to SmackDown right now, type of thing. Plus, too, there's no... Everyone will know what they want him to do right away, type of thing. So, I mean, again, it's not like the brand split matters all that much anyways. He could have just gone to... Because we've seen that there's people that jump back and forth all the time anyways. But, apparently it's a big deal type of thing with this trade. So, I guarantee you they'll do this trade, and Cody will be on Raw and SmackDown every week. He'll be on both shows. So,
That's better.
Yeah. But anyhow, let's get to our first bit of action of the night. We had Otis with Maxine Dupree ringside versus Bronson Reed. Very physical match, very exciting. Just 2 big men slapping meat, which was awesome. Eventually, Bronson Reed hit the senton, followed by the tsunami on Otis for the win. I like this a lot. I thought this was very good stuff. Both guys looked really strong here. And I thought the right person went over at the end of the day. I think Bronson Reed, there's a lot of upside to him. So, I thought it was good that he went over. And, I just liked this match a lot. I thought it was very good stuff. What did you think of it?
I loved it. It was awesome. It's it's the big sweaty men slapping meat. It's a really good big man brawl.
Very good, yeah.
A lot of shoulder tackles and Like they couldn't knock each other down. And Bronson would have made a lot of sense because he needs a good win. That was a good win against Otis. He absolutely crushed Otis with the tsunami. Otis sold that like a champ.
He did.
A lot of meat coming out. A lot of body weight coming off that top rope.
Yep.
Onto another large human being. But yeah, I thought the match I liked it.
And then Becky Lynch is backstage. She's just sitting around, hanging out. I don't know what she was doing. It looked like she was trying to get her makeup done, but the makeup person wasn't there. And Tegan Nox comes up to her and congratulates her on what she's been doing lately as NXT Women's Champion. And Tegan Nox says, that she was going to accept... Becky says that she was disappointed that it wasn't Tegan that accepted the open challenge. She's disappointed that it was Natty. And Tegan Nox says that she was going to accept it, but Natty just happened to beat her to the punch type of thing, She figured she'd let Natty take the challenge since, she's the veteran and all that type of stuff. And Becky Lynch, takes offense to this, and she says that, that when is Tegan Nox going to take a moment for herself and all that type of stuff. And this leaves Tegan arguing about, her career choices and all that type of stuff. Overall, this was relatively good. This is a disadvantage of me watching main event because, as you've heard, Tegan Nox sometimes is a face on main event and sometimes a heel. So this week she just happened to be a baby face, I guess. So, overall, I thought this was relatively good, though. It gets Tegan Nox some shine, and I thought she did pretty well here. So, how did you feel about this segment?
I liked it. Again, I would love to see Tegan Nox against Becky. I think the match is going to be really, really good. And again, it gets Tegan on TV. And anything that gets Tegan on TV is fine with me.
So then it shows backstage. Adam Pearce is on the phone with somebody. He's just talking about this trade that's going to go on. And then Tegan Nox comes in and basically says that, whoever wins at the NXT Women's Championship match at No Mercy, she wants to face the winner. And Natalya comes in and says that she's earned a rematch because she's the boat and all that type of stuff. And says that, Becky Lynch got lucky. She fluked away to a pinfall. And Tegan Nox disagrees, talks about how she's had her opportunities and all that type of stuff. They stop bickering with each other. And eventually Adam Pearce just makes a match between Tegan Nox and Natalya. I love to, basically he says, things are really tense tonight. I don't want to deal with this tonight type of thing. Like, basically there's things going on bigger than what's going on right there that he's just like, yeah, just go deal with this and they'll win. But, overall, I thought this was good. It sets up to a match later. So what did you think of this?
It was just really weird how it was, again, like Natty lost the week prior and then she just randomly gets another chance again. I would have liked for it to have been Tegan Nox versus, I don't know, someone else. Like, Natty got the chance and she lost.
Yeah.
And then she just got another chance right away.
I know.
I was like, that seems very odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay. Segment was fine.
Then we had a vignette for Dragon Lee. Really good vignette. It would just show basically everything that he's done since he came to WWE. Well, that wasn't the next thing, but that does happen on the show. How did you feel about the Dragon Lee vignette? That was a very, very good vignette for Dragon Lee.
It was. I like it. I liked it.
The actual next thing was Tommaso Ciampa versus Marcel Bartel. Earlier in the day, it shows Imperium have a segment. It was online. And Tommaso Ciampa came up, and he was wondering when him and Walter are going to have a one-on-one match for the championship. And it leads to Marcel Bartel pretty much challenging Ciampa to a match. The match happens. The match is very physical, very good, very back and forth. Eventually, Fabian Eichner tries to run interference. And, Marcel Bartel had Ciampa beat, quote unquote, but he really didn't have him beat because Ciampa still kicked out anyways, even while the ref wasn't looking. So that didn't really make sense. But eventually Ciampa hits a high knee on Bartel, and but Ciampa wins. But pretty much it's kind of looks like that it was Fabian Eichner's fault that this happened. And then Ciampa wins. Overall, I like this. We see Walter watching the match backstage, and he's upset about this. Ciampa says that, he's still waiting for Walter. And Walter doesn't even let Ciampa finish his statement before he walked away from the TV. He just leaves it in anger. So, great way to set up Ciampa versus Walter for the title. And, I like the idea that Ciampa pretty much had to go through, everybody in Imperium just to get to Walter, which I think is a pretty good story right there. So, how'd you feel about this match and how it played out and everything like that?
I liked it. I think Ciampa's the perfect person for it. I like how Ciampa's getting a nice push right now. Again, I'd like to see Chad Gable be the one that fits good there for the title. But if it's anyone else other than Chad Gable, I'm okay with Ciampa with taking it because I feel like he's getting the big spotlight right now. I liked it a lot.
And again, I'm okay with it too, just because it makes sense to wait it out. I think Gable is going to be the one to dethrone Walter, and I think that should be safe for like a Royal Rumble or WrestleMania or something like that. Just because Walter's held the title for so long, I think he should drop it at a Big Four pay-per-view at this point.
Drop it at the house show.
Huh?
He should drop it at the house show.
He should drop it at the holiday show in Boston, type of thing, just out of nowhere, type of thing. So.
I don't feel like having this anymore.
No. Actually, I have a better idea. Drop it on Main Event. That's even worse than a house show.
Yes, drop it on Main Event or NXT Level Up.
I don't know what's worse, Level Up or Main Event. So, actually, no, he should drop it on the Dark Match before Level Up. That'd be awesome. Can you imagine that? He just drops it on the Dark Match before Level Up even takes place.
Not even televised.
But yeah,
he loses in 30 seconds to a roll up.
To like Javier Bernal or something like that too. It's gotta be like a lower tier, or one of those talents that just signed and all that type of stuff. Like one of those talents.
Miles Bourne.
Well, no, he's at least getting pushed right now though. So, but yeah, overall, this is relatively good stuff. Then, yeah, we had the Dragon Lee vignette, which you already broke down. Then we had Tegan Nox versus Natalya with Becky Lynch on commentary. I thought Becky Lynch did pretty well on commentary. Her and Wade Barrett had a nice back and forth, which I liked. Eventually, the match happens. It's a pretty solid match, nothing crazy or anything like that. Eventually, Tegan Nox hits the shiniest wizard in the world and wins. Because it's the shiniest wizard in the world. You can't kick out of that. And yeah, that was it pretty much. Overall, I thought they did the job it needed to do. I thought the match could have been a little bit better, but it's whatever. So yeah, I thought the match was good for what it was. It did what it needed to do. So not every match needs to be like a 5-star extravaganza type of thing. Well, unless it's in the Tokyo Dome, then it has to be. So how did you feel about this match?
I thought it was solid. Nothing spectacular. Right person won. Of course, I mean, it was kind of obvious that it was going to be Tegan just because that's who Hunter wanted to last week. But yeah, I liked it. I liked the person who won, actually.
There you go.
Right person won.
Then Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough are backstage. Damian Priest comes up and he's upset that
very angry.
Yeah, JD McDonough pretty much caused him to get his ass kicked, and he pretty much throws him out of the Judgment Day's locker room. And the Judgment Day's locker room is pretty cool. It has like purple lighting all around it and all that type of stuff, and it just looks like a cool locker room to be at. So definitely try to join Judgment Day if you want to get a locker room like that. Obviously, that's like Bloodline level, like that's its own type of locker room type of thing. So. But overall, I liked this. It continues the tension between Damian Priest and JD McDonough. Just good stuff. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, we can tell from the outset, Damian Priest really hates JD McDonough.
Yeah.
No matter how nice JD is to him, it won't fucking matter. And he basically said he's not going to be in the Judgment Day. But I have a feeling like if he is,
I know, yeah,
he's gonna do something that's gonna help Damian. Maybe Damian cashes the Money in the Bank, and he helps him win. But yeah, it's just it adds another an interesting wrinkle and layer to the Judgment Day story and group, where JD goes from here, where Finn goes from here, because that's Finn's JD's trainer, and they're really close. Like, how is this affecting Finn now that one of his closest friends and his trainee is not allowed in the Judgment Day right now?
I know, yeah, it's interesting. Next, Seth Rollins comes out to do a promo, and he pretty much says, that if you want Nakamura to come out, send my son. If you want to have a world title match tonight, send my son. And he talked about, though, how he tried to do it he tried to do it his way, but he realizes that it can only be done Nakamura's way. So he wants to know when the time it's going to be and what the stipulation's going to be. So Nakamura comes on the screen. He does a promo talking about how Seth Rollins' back is slowly breaking and all that type of stuff. He's not going to be able to fight out of it and all that type of stuff. And he said that that's why he's been playing the long game pretty much, just because of how worn down Seth Rollins has been and all that type of stuff. And if you want to know the time, the place, and the stipulation, the time is going to be Fastlane. That's pretty obvious. And the stipulation is going to be a last man standing match. He says that he wants to do this because he wants to keep down Seth Rollins, and he wants to beat him down to the point where his wife and his kid will pretty much disown him and pretty much not look at him anymore. He'll be unrecognizable type of thing. They won't want to recognize him, which it's a bit cool right there. I guess Seth's wife and kid aren't gonna aren't gonna even be associated. When he said that too, I thought it was gonna be an I Quit match because of that, because that's like a dishonorable thing. But that's the end of the segment, and then Seth Rollins says, that Nakamura made it personal, talking about his family, and he said that someone's gonna walk out of Fastlane, and it's not gonna be Nakamura, and that was pretty much the end of the segment. I liked this segment a lot. I thought it was really good stuff. I thought it added extra heat to the feud, and I'm glad they went last man standing. I was worried they were gonna do the thing, where like if the champ gets DQ'd.
The greatest wrestling match of all time.
That would have been nice. But yeah, I was worried they were going to do the thing if the champ gets DQ'd, he loses his championship and all that type of stuff. I'm glad they went last man standing, though, just because,
They got to go TNA with that one.
Well, no, that's like a gimmick they always threw out there, where, like, the heel, especially, too, with what they were doing last week when Nakamura got Ricochet disqualified and stuff. Like, they're going to do that stipulation. But no, they went last man standing. I like that better. It makes sense for the feud because the whole thing has been... that Nakamura's been beating down Seth and he hasn't been able to get back up from it and stuff. It ties into his back injury and all that type of stuff. So, overall, I like this a lot. It adds intrigue to the match at Fastlane, and I think the match at Fastlane is going to rule. I hope it's semi-main events, just because I don't think it's main evented with what the big selling match is, but I hope it's semi-main events. But how do you feel about this and everything?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was so obvious the match is going to be a Fastlane. They're not going to advertise something for the Royal Rumble. Like, hey, we're going to have this match at the Royal Rumble. But yeah, like a last man standing stipulation makes a lot of sense. Almost too much sense too, because of the way that the feud has gone. It just made sense because they want the last man standing.
So there you go. Next, Ricochet gets interviewed by Jackie Redmond. You ever notice Jackie Redmond only interviews like Ricochet, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, only those people, like Becky Lynch, and that's it? She doesn't interview anybody else. She just leaves that to Byron Saxton type of thing. It's like, come on. You're hired to be a backstage. You're hired to be a backstage interview, and you only want to interview these people. Ricochet just interviewed the most. Is something going on there? Like, Ricochet has a fiance that, admittedly, he's done better in that department. I'm just saying, like, come on.
Yeah.
Huh?
Stop trying to interview him.
Yeah.
God, he's taken.
I know. And so she's given Ricochet a look lately. It's like she wants Ricochet too. Like, what are you doing? I wanted to if she specifically asked for, can I interview Ricochet again this week type of thing? Like, Poor Ricochet, too. He had to go there on his crutches and all that type of stuff, too. He had to travel and all that type of stuff, too. Like, come on. Like, just so he could get interviewed. He had to... Like, I don't know. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyhow, yeah, Ricochet comes up on crutches, and he talks about how he's upset that it seems like his life has just been a disaster lately with the way SummerSlam played out, with what happened to Nakamura. And he pretty much says that no matter what happens, he's going to be gunning for Shinsuke Nakamura. I like this, it shows that there's going to be a feud for Nakamura after Fastlane, whether he wins or loses. And it does add intrigue, like, it shows that maybe Nakamura could win the title, considering the fact that, Ricochet's in the wins and all that type of stuff. So, overall, this was good stuff. I liked it, good stuff right here. What did you think of this?
I liked it a lot.
There you go. So did Jackie, right? Well, she didn't like the segment. She liked Ricochet a lot. So.
Oh yeah, she was obsessed with Ricochet.
Yeah, she's married too, but I guess in her mind that doesn't matter. So.
Nothing matters anymore.
Yeah. Then we had the best match of the whole week, the best match of the night. It was the NXT North American Championship match. It was Dragon Lee challenging Dominic Mysterio for the championship. This match was awesome, very back and forth. A great showcase for Dragon Lee, like a great first match for him to have on the main roster and everything like that. He looked very well in this match. Obviously, coming out of it, we find out that this match was produced by Nick Aldis. Was this the first match he produced, like big time type of thing? I think he had I know he had like a trial period, but I think this was the first match.
He made an event recently.
But yeah, this was fantastic, and eventually, Dragon Lee tries to go for like a super hurricanrana, but Dominic Mysterio shoves him. He crotches him on the ropes, and Dominic Mysterio hits a frog splash onto him for the win. As much as we hate Dominic Mysterio, we have to give him his props. He went out there, he defended his championship on his own. There was no outside interference. He did it by himself. So, okay. But overall, I thought this match was great. I thought Dragon Lee looked very strong here. And I hate to say this, the good thing about Mustafa Ali getting released is the match actually got to have a proper conclusion. Because the finish probably would have been Mustafa Ali interfering and causing a DQ. The good thing about it is at least the match got to have a finish and everything like that. And Dragon Lee benefited from it huge. I do wonder how long Mustafa Ali's release was planned and all that type of stuff. Because this match was advertised randomly out of nowhere a week ago. But, yeah, I think the match itself was unpredictable, because then you were wondering what's going to happen with the North American title now. Like, I actually thought there was a chance that Dragon Lee could have won the championship and all that type of stuff. But, yeah, great match here. It was very back and forth. And, again, you got to give Dom his props. He won the match on his own. He didn't need any help or anything like that. So, what did you think of this match overall and everything like that?
I thought that this match was great, solely because of Dragon Lee. He was fantastic. That other fucking piece of shit, fucking worthless sperm of Rey Mysterio, bargain bin, fucking great value ass Eddie Guerrero. He was in. He got carried.
You're not even going to give him his spot. The dude won the match on his own. He didn't have any outside interference. He won pretty much clean. He didn't even cheat or anything. Like, what are you talking about?
Too bad. That's too bad.
Wow. That's pretty
got carried.
That's pretty cold right there. Like, the dude won the match on his own. He did it by... Even Michael Cole gave him props. You won't even give him those props type of thing. So...
Nope. All Dragon Lee deserves all the credit in the world.
Oh my gosh. I even love, by the way, like, there's a line that Wade Barrett says where he said, he mentioned that, Dom was raised by his father, and he said, Ray didn't do a very good job as a father. Like, I was, like, thinking, like, wait, where did that come from right there? Like, what are you talking about? Like, Ray did a great job. Ray did a great job as a father. Like,
he just, his little fucking useless sperm ripped it off into, got manipulated by some dominatrix.
Yes, he did. But yeah, great match right here overall. Great stuff. Then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens get interviewed. They talk about Jey Uso, and Kevin Owens mentions that even though Jey Uso didn't join Judgment Day, they still don't trust him just because, of his past performances and stuff. And Kevin Owens is just sick of talking, pretty much. He says that he also wants to go take their tag team titles. So that's what he's gonna go do. And I love it too, because then Sami Zayn was just like, yeah, we're just gonna go take our tag team titles, and Kevin Owens was just like, let's go, come on! Like, he was so fired up, and he was in such a rush too. He was like, what are you rushing for, buddy? You still matches into the main event. This was like hour 2. He was like rushing Sami Zayn as if the match was next. Like, what'd you think of this? I thought Kevin Owens was awesome here.
I thought Kevin Owens was great. Really, he killed me. He was like, he didn't want to talk anymore. He was like, yeah, let's we have a match to get ready for. Let's stop talking. No need to talk anymore. That's basically Kevin Owens' gimmick, is he hates doing promos or interviews.
Even though he's like
they come over to the microphone, he's just like, I don't want to talk anymore. I want to fight. I want to beat some people up.
Even though he's like he's probably like one of the best promos in the business right now, and he doesn't even want to talk. He's just like he's just done.
And it made it seem like their match was like next, and then when they went to the next match, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's the main. It's not. It's the beginning of Hour 2.
Yeah. Oh, they did their favorite thing on Raw, by the way. They showed the recap of the judgment of the tag team title match at like Payback. You think the tag team title match was going to be next, but it wasn't. It was a North American title match. Like, wait, why did you recap the tag team title match if that match wasn't even going to happen next? Like, it was like, what are you doing?
Not enough recap.
I think we had but whatever.
I think what they should do is they should recap a match, and then come back from a commercial, recap that same match, go to a commercial break, and then recap the match that happened. Recap
awesome.
it again.
Do you remember when The Rock came back? Michael Cole was mentioning, like, 1 million people have seen this and all that type of stuff. I guess not enough, because they felt the need, they had to recap it, like, right afterwards, too. I guess not enough people saw what they thought, so.
They didn't see it enough.
Yeah. But anyhow, let's continue talking about Raw. So then we had the worst segment of the whole show, the worst segment of the week. Michael Cole interviews Nia Jax. She cuts a really bad promo. She basically talks about that whoever she steps into the ring with is going to be in danger. And she talks about how she's done in one night when no one's been able to do, and that's take out Rhea Ripley and take out Raquel Rodriguez and take out Shayna Baszler and all that type of stuff. And she says that, whoever's in my path is going to be taken out pretty much. Zoe Stark comes out and pretty much challenges Nia Jax to do something. And she fires away her right hand, and Nia Jax just shoves her away. Does a really bad shove, just not very convincing. So then it turned into a match. It wasn't a very good match. It was really bad. And then Nia Jax just wins with a banzai drop, pretty much. And this match was just really bad. The segment was really bad. And just not happy to see Nia Jax back. This was terrible. Honestly, when I keep hearing reports that I assume it's write-offs, but because of Nia Jax's history, I'm actually worried these are legit injuries that happen sometimes, just because of her history. But yeah, this segment was terrible, and this is like week 3 of Nia Jax's return, and it's been really bad ever since she's been back. And also Zoe Stark is ruined as a babyface. I almost said Rui Stark. Who the hell is that?
Rui! Let's go!
No, that's not even anybody's name. Who the hell is that? Like...
Rui!
Yeah, but how did you feel about this segment and everything like that?
I fucking hated it. From the Nia Jax same cut and dry bland promo that she's been cutting forever, to the shitty theme song that she came out to. Which
thanks for reminding me about that, yeah.
Are far worse than her theme song that she had before. And then, again, the same cut and dry promo that she's been doing forever. And then Zoe Starks comes out and bumps into her and cuts a muffled promo into the microphone, and then gets shoved and then gets her ass beat. And then loses. I'm like, oh, okay. What the fuck was the point of that?
I know. This was terrible.
I was like, Zoe's... This is at least going to make it's going to make it at least a little bit more interesting that she fucking comes into the ring and cuts a literally less than 10-second promo that is muffled.
I know, it's terrible.
I was like, what the fuck did she just say?
Yeah.
What the fuck? First of all, she has no tone whatsoever, so it's fucking like... a 10-year-old when they talk. So it's like, I'm like, what does she even say? And then she gets shoved, and then she gets her ass beat. I'm like, oh wow, great. Thanks for showing up, Zoe.
This was awful. This was awful. Hey, apparently in my mind it wasn't Zoe Stark that showed up; it was Wooey Starks. So
It was.
Who the hell is that?
Zoe can actually cut a promo.
Huh?
Maybe Zoe can actually cut a promo.
This is Wooey Stark.
She's been in the system for how long now, and she still can't cut a promo?
Yeah, she's been in the business for years too. Then Jey Uso gets interviewed, and he talks about how he made the decision to not join Judgment Day because he felt like, that he would have just been undoing all the good graces that he's earned backstage. And he said that he wasn't going to do Cody like that, pretty much. He didn't want to ruin Cody's name and all that type of stuff.
He wasn't going to do him. That's fine with me.
Yeah, good boy Jey Uso and good boy Cody Rhodes. They're both being good boys right now. So
Good boys.
and then he basically says that he's gonna stick around and make sure no funny business happens in the tag team title match tonight. So
Ooh.
how'd you feel about this? I thought this was good stuff. Good promo by Jey Uso.
I think Jey Uso just gets better by the week. I don't know how he was going to be solo, but I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I actually.
He's coming off as like a sincere babyface that like seems like he was more manipulated into joining into the bloodline than like actually him wanting to join himself.
And as we
that.
as we predicted, he's doing better right now than his brother. I think at the moment being singles, mainly because
Jimmy's gimmick is just fucking bizarre.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, I will say this: I think a lot of people predicted that Jimmy versus Jay will main event night one of Mania. With how things are going, with the way Jimmy's being used, I don't even think that should main event WrestleMania. Maybe semi-main event, but with how everything. Once a few picks back up, we'll see. But I feel like that with the way Jimmy's being used, that doesn't even belong in the main event of WrestleMania.
Honestly, at this point, blow it off at Royal Rumble and then have him team back up again.
Yeah, that's how things have been going lately. So,
like honestly, and have the Usos win the tag titles.
Yeah,
again at WrestleMania or whatever. Like a year later, have him win again at WrestleMania Night 1.
I'd be okay with that. Well, it depends on what the. Depends on what the call. Depends on what the.
It's Night 2 for me. Night 2 for me is 100% Cody versus Roman again. Night 2.
Yeah.
And that's almost like set in stone at this point.
It depends on who comes in Night 1, obviously, but we'll get to that later. But next, Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor are backstage. And Finn Balor congratulates Dominic Mysterio. He tells him that he did this all by himself. He didn't need anybody's help.
What a big boy!
And Dominic Mysterio is asking where Damian Priest is, and it's revealed that Damian Priest went to cool off with how angry he's been and all that type of stuff. But he said that he's going to be back. And Dominic Mysterio is worried about Damian Priest's headspace, considering the fact that, he's been kind of all over the place recently. So, I guess good on Dom for looking out for his Judgment Day, compadre. So, how'd you feel about this segment?
It was interesting. For a group that says they don't have a leader, Damian Priest is looking awfully like a leader.
Well, we know one person that's not the leader, and that's Dominic Mysterio. He's definitely not the
leader. He's a little bitch. He's a little bitch. He's the whipping boy.
Next, we had Miz TV with Drew McIntyre. The Miz comes out. He introduces Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre comes out, and The Miz talks about how him and Drew McIntyre are a lot alike. They talk about how they're both former WWE champions, but they've been miscast. And they had to climb and scratch and claw the way back up to become WWE champion. They talk about how they've had all this other stuff going on around them that no one's really talked about them, and Drew disagrees. He said that he's nothing like The Miz. But The Miz wants to know, what's going on. Why didn't Drew McIntyre save Jey Uso last week? And Drew said that it was karma catching up with Jey Uso after all the times that Jey Uso and the Bloodline screwed him over and all that type of stuff. And then the New Day interrupt him. And the New Day talk about how Drew McIntyre pretty much showed where his loyalty lie by not saving Jey Uso. And Drew McIntyre mentions the fact that, the New Day and the Usos have feuded for years. They talk about how everything that the Bloodline did to Kofi and Xavier when they were on SmackDown and everything like that. And Kofi and Xavier agree, but they said that they're willing to give Jey Uso a chance. And they talk about how Drew McIntyre had a job to do last week, and that was to save Jey Uso, but he didn't do that job. And Drew McIntyre, basically says that he basically tells Kofi to get into the ring so they can have their match. What was awesome about this, too, is The Miz was actually full-on agreeing with Drew McIntyre, and anytime The Miz went to say something, Drew McIntyre just told him to shut up, and then eventually he just got sick of hearing The Miz, and he laid him out with a Glasgow kiss. And pretty much then we get that match. Before I cover the match, how'd you feel about the segment? I loved it. We're definitely getting... I don't think he's quite fully heel yet, but we're definitely closer to a heel Drew McIntyre than we were a week ago, I would say. How'd you feel about this?
I liked it. We're getting closer to heel Drew. And every time Miz kept trying to talk, he kept saying, "Shut up, Miz. Shut up, Miz. Shut up, Miz." Like every fucking time, because Miz kept trying to side with Drew, then eventually he hits him with a Glasgow kiss. And it killed me every time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How dare you talk to Drew like that? And then Drew would try to go, "Shut up, Miz." It's so funny.
Yeah.
And eventually hit him nothing. He hit him with a Glasgow kiss. That was so funny.
I did like this. I think that's why The Miz was there, just to show that Drew isn't fully heel yet, but he's definitely closer to a heel this week. Again, I think they had to change the story a lot, obviously, because Matt Riddle got released, so they had to basically change. But to be honest, I actually think this was kind of a better change. I think it's better, because I feel like Drew will get more heat turning heel on the New Day and Jey Uso, just because they're so popular right now. If Matt Riddle had stuck around, it was going to be a struggle to get people to boo Drew turning on Matt Riddle, just because Matt Riddle was getting to the point where he wasn't liked anymore and all that type of stuff. So I'm glad this change happened. And I think this is going to be a better way for him to turn heel type of thing. I think this is going to be awesome. So, but then anyhow, we had the match between Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston. Awesome match right here. Very back and forth. Eventually... Ivar comes out. He attacks Xavier Woods from behind. He destroys him ringside, hits the high crossbody while Woods is up against the barricade. And this distracts Kofi long enough for Drew to lay him out with Future Shock DDT, followed by the Claymore kick for the win. And after this, Ivar attacks Kofi, and Drew doesn't make the save this time. And Ivar completely lays out Kofi, destroys him, and it continues the feud, obviously, that's going on between the Viking Raiders and the New Day. And I feel like they only just brought Ivar out there just to kind of continue the Drew heel turn more so, because obviously he didn't come make the save for Kofi. So I like this a lot. I thought the match was really good, and I like what's going on with Drew McIntyre. I think, I'm happy we're going to finally get heel Drew. And I think this heel Drew is going to be different than the heel Drew we've seen before. I think he will be medicine, but I think he's not just going to be like a medicine brute like he was before. I think, because there's all the reasons for Drew to turn heel type of thing, by the way. Because Drew actually thinks he's in the right here, which if you think about it, he is. He's just being kind of a dick about it type of thing. But how'd you feel about this? I thought this was great.
I thought it was really good. Again, more signs of Drew turning heel. I liked it.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Then Alpha Academy was backstage, and they're giving Otis a pep talk because, of his performance in the match and everything like that. And then Marcel Bartel comes up to him. He tells Maxine Dupree and says that this is evidence that you're just wasting your time with Alpha Academy. Maxine Dupree says that, you just don't know when to take no for an answer and all that type of stuff. And then Chad Gable has, Marcel Bartel give a message to his father, Walter, that he's still coming for that Intercontinental Championship. So, overall, this was a good segment. I'll just break down the next segment since it's kind of both 2 and 1. Then it shows Imperium backstage, And Walter's upset with Fabian Eichner that and Marcel Bartel that he pretty much that they're making him look bad and all that type of stuff. So then he leaves Fabian Eichner to Marcel Bartel's responsibility. So now Marcel Bartel screws up. So now if Fabian Eichner screws up, Marcel Bartel will be to blame. And he said that he's going to handle the Ciampa situation himself like he typically has to. So I thought these two segments were good. Obviously, I don't love the fact that it looks like that, they're showing cracks and Imperium and all that type of stuff, but it is what it is. But these segments...
they've been doing that for a long time now, though.
Yeah, so we have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, I thought these two segments were good. How did you feel about them?
I like them. I like them both. The cracks in Imperium are eventually going to happen. It seems like they do the cracks, and then they win. And then the cracks go away.
Yeah.
And then they lose one time, and it's like, okay, cracks again, and then they win again, then it goes away.
I mean, when you're on top, you have to expect perfection. You can understand Walter's perspective on that. So
He's a very angry man.
He is.
I like that. I like that. I think it's it's interesting because before it was the other way around. Like Ludwig Kaiser was watching Giovanni Vinci, and now it's the other way around now. I like that. It's okay, now he's your responsibility now, instead of it being the other way around. I like that.
That's good. Then Ivar and Valhalla are backstage. They cut a promo, and pretty much Ivar said that he's going to just destroy the New Day and all that type of stuff in a very Viking way type of thing. And Byron Saxton looked scared when he had to talk about this. He was like, yeah, he looked scared. So, what'd you think of this?
It was okay.
Yeah, fine. Then we had the main event. Not the show, that was already covered. It was the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. It was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn challenging Finn Balor and Damian Priest for the titles. Very good main event here. Very exciting. Typical WWE, though. They always do the freaking stipulation match first, and then they do the regular tag match afterwards. Okay. Should be the opposite. You do the stipulation matches like the blow off, but apparently that's not how WWE rolls. So, eventually, all this interference takes place. Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough interfere, and eventually Cody and Jey Uso run out and attack him. And Adam Pearce comes out with his security. He sends Cody and Jey Uso to the back and Dom, but JD doesn't get sent to the back because he got taken out with a suicide dive by Cody. Good on Cody, by the way, to get all dressed up like he was going to have a match. Good boy. He knew that he was going to have to fight tonight. He was prepared for that. So, And then eventually, behind the West back, JD McDonough cracks Sami Zayn over the head with a tag team title. And Judgment Day retain their championships. And then afterwards, all this chaos takes place at the end of the show where everyone just brawls around and all that type of stuff. So they're just starting to get out of control with the Judgment Day business. Overall, I thought this match was great. A little overbooked, but I still thought, it did what it needed to do. It's setting up that 8-man tag. And what good souls Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso were to look out for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, especially Cody. What a good soul he is. What such a nice guy. What did you think of this?
Cody Rhodes is the greatest human being on earth. But I thought the main event, it was good. A little overbooked at the end. I felt like it was along the same lines as that Pittsburgh Street Fight, where it just got... The Pittsburgh Street Fight was insanely overbooked at the end. Just insanely overbooked. This was a little bit overbooked. I felt like we could have done without, the interference again. I feel like there needs to be, a definitive winner, rather than just interference all the time in these matches. I was kind of hoping Kevin and Sami would win because I felt like it was very fucking premature for them to lose the titles even in the first place. But yeah, it was good. It was a good main event though.
And then that was Raw. If I had to give Raw a grading, I'm gonna give it an A-. It would probably be an A+ had it not been for that Nia Jax segment. That segment just ruins life. It's just terrible. Well, what do you think of Raw?
I also give it. I give it an A minus. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a really good show. Very cohesive throughout. I mean, the Nia Jax promo was probably the only down in match. It was probably the only down on the show entirely. Like, I thought it was a very good show. A really good show. Like, really, like, solid throughout. Nothing was, and besides the Nia Jax, like, shit, like, nothing on the show was, like, offensive or bad.
And yeah, Cody just continues to just be awesome. But apparently, though, according to Vince Russo, Cody doesn't draw the casual fans. Want to read? You still have the text, by the way. Want to read word for word? Because you're a big Cody fan, so that's why I want you to read it word for word. You want to read word for word what Vince Russo said about Cody during on an episode of Busted Open Radio or whatever it was.
All right, this is fucking out of touch with reality, old man, fucking loser Vince Russo has to say. Cody Rhodes isn't over the casual wrestling fans. I have no interest in watching Raw on Monday nights. That's interesting. Because last time I checked, Cody brings the casuals in.
Yeah.
Just because you're not watching, because you hold a grudge against the company, doesn't mean that casuals aren't watching. Casuals are watching in a big way. So I to burst your bubble. Just because, you know why though? You know why he said that? Grudge. He holds a grudge.
Yeah, he does.
That's what it is. It's clear as day. You can't fucking tell me that Cody Rhodes is not a draw to casuals. Because he is.
I mean,
wait a minute. So Cody Rhodes isn't a draw to casuals. How come WrestleMania was insanely popular then?
Most watched
because it's not all diehards there.
Yeah.
It's about 50.
This is
a big event.
This is a big evidence of that. Cody's way more over in WWE than he was in AEW, and where's it? What's all AEW? It's all hardcores, pretty much. Like,
far more casuals tune into WWE than they ever do with AEW, and the casuals are tuning in because of Cody.
Yeah.
If Cody is advertised, casuals will show up.
Why do you think he's been doing dark matches on SmackDown recently? He's not even on SmackDown. He's coming over and doing dark matches.
He's just stupid.
Yeah.
He's just dumb. He doesn't get it. It's fine, though. It's okay. He doesn't have to get it or understand it. Because he's been out of the loop for the last 20 years.
Do you remember I paid you...
Oh, just put me in, though, bro, and I'll bro it around with the bros. Bro. We'll bro it that way, bro. Write it down on the bro paper, bro.
Do you remember I played that clip where he mentioned that wrestling's not the same? It was all Crash on TV. He didn't do lawn matches and stuff. Those lawn matches are freaking drawing fans in and all that type of stuff. It's like, No,
it wasn't. It was the segments. That's why the Attitude Era was so popular. Is because besides certain matches, besides certain people, it was just segments that people were tuning in to see.
But now people
obviously wanted to see Austin and Rock and Taker and Kane and Mankind and all those guys.
Yeah.
But like they weren't tuning in. You weren't going to tune in if the Godfather was main eventing.
Yeah. But nowadays
it's fucking Ken Shamrock. They wouldn't care.
But nowadays though they do tune in for the wrestling nowadays though. That's why wrestling matches are so much longer now and all that type of stuff cuz
because it's not Crash TV.
Yeah.
It's actually popular. Not to say the Attitude Era was great. I love the Attitude Era. It's my favorite era of all time. But yeah, it worked in 1998 when you had segment, short match, segment, short match, segment, short match, main event, long. It makes sense because people back then were watching everything. So you wanted the ratings. You put a lot of segments in there that are going to be racy, that are going to be engaging. You don't do that nowadays because Crash TV doesn't work now.
Yeah. He doesn't get that though.
Not 1998 anymore.
He doesn't get that though.
This is a new era, and guess what? It shows because people are tuning in. People want to see Cody Rhodes.
Not according to Vince Russo doesn't really want to see. I like too how he thinks he's not over the casual fans because he's not watching too. Like just because he's not watching, no one's watching. I guess.
Oh yeah. I'm not watching, so that means casuals aren't watching. You're not watching anyway.
Yeah.
So why does it matter?
Well, you know. Sounds familiar, by the way. But anyhow, yeah, let's continue with the show. Do you want to, talk about NXT?
Do I have to?
You chose to do the notes for NXT, so this is your decision right here.
So, NXT happened on a time period. Yeah, it just happened one day randomly, and then so the commentary team is the same. It's Booker T, Mr. Grunts, and Joseph. Of course, Vic, as always, carries the commentary team for 2+ hours a week.
Oh, as always, yeah.
It's very obvious. So the show starts off with Joe Coffey versus Butch for the Global Heritage Invitational Finals. And a lot of this, I don't remember them bringing this up, but they have a huge history throughout the UK indie scene, through NXT UK. They had some big matches against each other. And I don't know if I kind of forget if they talked it up on commentary, but they had a big feud before, at the time when his name was Walter, debuted on NXT UK.
Well, they're not going to bring that up because Booker T probably didn't even know about it. So, he can't. Yeah. I'm just saying Vic Joseph probably was going to try to bring it up. Booker T didn't even know which, he kept calling Joe Coffey Joe Gacy. So it's like, he didn't even know Booker T didn't even know who was out there. So.
He doesn't even know anyway. He's very too busy focused on what he's going to order from Uber Eats.
Yeah.
But anyways, this match, I genuinely like this match. Again, they had so much chemistry together because they faced each other for years, and this match was really fucking good. And then Butch wins it with the bitter end and advances to become the #1 contender for the NXT Heritage Cup. I thought this match was really good.
Yeah, this was
back and forth matchup, and again, just these two have so much chemistry together because, like I said, they faced each other for years on the UK independent scene, the NXT UK. They had a big feud between British Strong Style and Gallus. Like, it was big, it was huge over there in the UK. So it's really good to see. It's really nice to see them competing in the finals.
Yeah,
kind of like not a send off to their feud, but like the spotlight of their feud there.
Yeah, this was awesome. I thought both guys showcased themselves really well. I thought this was a great finals of the tournament. And, Pete Dunne wins, which makes sense. I think, Noam Dar's such a heel that I think Pete Dunne's the perfect guy for him to go up against. Poor Gallus, because they made all these, on Instagram earlier in the day, they made all these t-shirts thinking that, Joe Coffey was going to win. They were advertising the match at... No Mercy, but yeah, they were mistaken. That did not happen. So, and they can't make that money back making those t-shirts. They made like several of those t-shirts, and now that match isn't happening now, so they're gonna lose a lot of money. Overall, I liked this, and I like the fact that they did this Heritage Cup tournament thing. It was basically a G1 thing. The only booking mistake they made was doing the Axiom and Charlie Dempsey match on Level Up when nobody could win anymore, type of thing. In terms of they couldn't win the tournament type of thing. That match should have been booked way earlier, but again, it's Shawn Michaels booking. He doesn't understand that. I know you're gonna say yes, it's sports. That happens in sports all the time. Legitimately, they were so far off in points they couldn't win though, type of thing. That's how much of a waste of time it was. It wasn't like either of them was playing. Spoiler. I think the only other mistake they made was having Duke Hudson win just to have Joe Coffey advance anyways. That was such a Shawn Michaels move right there. That was the only mistake they made with the tournament. But I would like it if WWE does this type of tournament, just do it properly type of thing. Overall, I thought it was a very heavy success. I think the only mistake they made too was Sean waited so long to do the tournament, where most of the matches had to take place on Level Up. Like there was some bangers on Level Up that not a lot of the people saw. So, overall, I thought this was a really great idea. The thing that sucks now though is they have to go to the Heritage Cup rules now. It's like they just killed themselves doing this tournament. Now they have to go to the Heritage Cup rules. Like honestly, the Heritage Cup rules should be like what this tournament was, where like it's just 12 minutes. And if you don't win in 12 minutes, it's a tie. Like I don't like the Heritage Cup rules. I know it's.
Let's go.
But anyhow, yeah.
Rounds, baby.
But yeah, overall I like this, and yeah, great stuff.
Next we have the fucking stupid, dumb, idiot, fucking North American champion asshole, and he's talking about his successful title defense on Raw against Dragon Lee, and he said he basically has a free Saturday. Just to sit on his couch and eat chicken tenders because Mustafa Ali got released. That was his fucking opponent on Saturday at No Mercy. So he thought he had a free Saturday just to sit around and be fucking lazy, eat chicken tenders. What a fucking slobber. But yeah, and it's funny too because that literally is his favorite food in the world. And he only orders chicken tenders, and if they don't have chicken tenders at restaurants, the judge would just leave the restaurant and they don't eat there. And if there's no chicken tenders on the menu, which is fucking hilarious.
I know.
That's like legit real. If they don't have like chicken tenders on the menu, they'll just get up and leave. He goes somewhere else. Just because fucking Dum Dum needs his chicken tenders.
Oh my god.
It's so funny.
Oh, it's awesome.
What a fucking child. I mean, chicken tenders are amazing, but like you're a fucking child.
Can you imagine that? By the way, like what happens to they order like they get like an appetizer or something. They start looking at the menu type of thing, and they're just like, oh. Imagine too, like Dom doesn't. Imagine too, Dom doesn't even like. I could see too. They just do this to Rib Dom. They just tell him there's no chicken tenders on the menu, type of thing. They don't even give him a menu, and they have the wait just be like, yeah, say they took chicken tenders off the menu, and Dom's like freaking out and all that type of stuff. Like,
that would be funny.
And that makes him such even more of a heel type of thing too. That's awesome. Gives you more of a reason to hate him now too. And I don't mean you like the fans. I mean you like Chris Dogg.
Yeah, I hate him. So I hate him even more. But so he's sitting there doing the interview, and then they basically tell him that actually you're gonna have a match at No Mercy, and the winner of that match, booked by Shawn Michaels, it's Axiom versus Tyler Bate versus Dragon Lee in a triple threat match to crown a challenger for your North American Championship. And then he just fucking throws a hissy fit and leaves like a little fucking child. I thought overall that this segment was good. It set up something for later in the night, and then something else sets up something for even more later in the night.
Yeah, overall I thought this was good stuff. It's funny because it was like during like the preview time frame, and they'll put the show on for a little bit just to make sure people tune in like in between commercials of the show that's on before NXT. And Vic Joseph, right before the thing, the big hook was like, "Wait, Shawn Michaels just posted what?" And it went on like Instagram and X. Shawn Michaels didn't post anything. Like there was nothing there on his social media. He didn't post anything. So it's like they're just making stuff. No wonder why Dom didn't know about it, because Shawn didn't post anything. Like.
He's gonna hide it from him. Blocked him.
Yeah.
On social media.
No, it'd be hilarious if Shawn Michaels was actually supposed to post something and he forgot to. No, it was one of those things he hit. He like started it, but he never actually posted it. It's just still sitting there like innocent, like about to post it. And Vic Joseph just jumped the shark right there. It's like, wait, Shawn Michaels posted what? But there's nothing on Shawn Michaels' social media. I think he forgot. Did he forget? Like,
I think they forgot. He has a team that like runs the socials for him. I think they forgot to post it.
Yeah, so it was awesome. But yeah, overall, I love this. Loved it.
I love him getting blindsided like that. It's amazing.
Of course you do.
So now Trick Williams makes his entrance, and of course, like they always do, they go to commercial break, and then they come back to a segment because they don't come back to the fucking match that they just have. They go to the D'Angelo family dinner.
Yeah.
For the tag team division. and they're talking, and up comes Angel and Humberto, and they say things got a little dicey the last time that they saw each other, but they wanted to apologize. They didn't come here to apologize or to eat. They just want the fucking tag titles. And I can't blame them.
I know, yeah.
I mean, I don't mind it. It's a good segment. The match is going to be good. I hope that they get the tag titles because I really think that now that match is going to be really good.
Well, there's more to it than that, but yeah, overall, most of the segments with the D'Angelo family I thought were relatively good. Until I know this is going to give away until there's a certain tag team that shows up that kind of ruins the whole segment. There's a certain tag team that I don't think is ready to be on TV right now, but we'll get to them later. Yeah, very mob style type of thing because that's what the D'Angelo family's going for. I haven't been into the title reign, though. It definitely seems like the chase of the championship reign was better than the title reign. And that's not their fault. They haven't been booked on TV enough. I think this is the first time they've been on TV. It seems like forever type of thing. But we'll see. Overall, for what this was, though, I thought this was good. Like, Humberto and Angel Garza, if you remember, was supposed to have, like, the return match since those vignettes. They never had it, and they just didn't book it. Like, what's going on? Well, Sean hates tag.
If it leads to a tag title match, I'd be okay with it because I think they're the ones that are probably going to take the titles.
Yeah, they should.
They deserve it. So next we have the match itself, which is Joe Gacy versus Trick Williams. Kind of a little bit of back and forth match. Trick really showing out in this match.
Definitely.
He's just insane. Like, Trick has just become so fucking good. And when he first came in, it was just he's just a mouthpiece to Mello. And now it's like, now that he's on his own, his real talent is shining, and he's fucking awesome. And Trick won with the jumping knee strike, and then post-match he cut his promo, basically saying that he can that Carmelo is going to retain the title, but he's going to get his own. He's going to go for his own title, and that he can whip anyone's ass because he's ambidextrous. He can whip ass with both hands, which is a take on an old interview. An NBA player said that he can dribble with his left hand or his right hand. It doesn't matter. He's amphibious.
So there you go.
Instead of saying ambidextrous, he called himself amphibious, which is a fucking water animal, and it's been a big meme for fucking ever. So he basically took from that, which is actually wicked funny.
Yeah, good stuff right here. I like the match. Trick Williams, I should talk about how, like, this dude is over. Not just for the PC. Everybody chant to up that Trick on Raw, on Dynamite even now. The AEW fans are chanting that, and on Impact. Everyone's chanting it everywhere. Like, this dude is over. Which is just absolutely awesome. And, yeah, we'll talk about what comes from this, because obviously, as bad as the Mustafa Ali release was and all that type of stuff, it ended up being a huge benefit, I think, in a sense, for Trick Williams, but we'll get to that. But overall, relatively good stuff. Yeah, Booker T was just, he was Booker T on commentary here, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, he's Booker T.
He's Booker T.
He is Booker T. I'm just gonna lump these things into one because they come like right after another. But Blair Davenport basically says that sets up a match with her against Gigi. Nothing really too fucking crazy there. Baron Corbin heads out to the ring. They go to commercial break and they come back. They have Andre Chase and Duke Hudson are backstage with JC Jane. They run into JC Jane backstage. And basically, Andre Chase is concerned about Thea and asks how she is. And Thea comes up and she's dressed completely different than what she was before. And she's very excited about the new ring gear that she has, and that she's going to show them the new ring gear when she goes out to the ring. I thought it was, it was okay.
The Blair Davenport interview was whatever. Thought I was okay. Didn't care for the Chase U thing. I think we know how we feel about them breaking up Chase U. So that's whatever. I love too the second that Thea Hill got any type of popularity, she's a heel now. That's great.
That's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. You know. That's what Shawn Michaels does though. The second that something gets over, he just can't wait to muddle with it and all that type of stuff. You know.
We can't wait.
Yeah. The second that Chase U got over, he had the storyline in mind that he wanted to break it up. So.
Oh, it was 100% that way. 100% that way.
Yeah.
He couldn't wait. He was so excited. Very excited.
And I like to. It's not even the person that like started out infiltrating the group. It's the person that's been in the group like the whole time and all that type of stuff. That's leaving the group and all that type of stuff. Like, and going into a worse tag team than before. Like,
exactly.
It doesn't even make sense. There's no tag titles for them to challenge. Like, there's not.
None.
There's what? I don't get it.
Just stupid.
Yeah.
Not been a fan of it at all. Very NXT of them to do that.
Yeah.
But next we have Josh Briggs versus Baron Corbin. It's a fucking squash match, basically. So much of Baron Corbin being a face in this fucking feud so far. Against Braun Breaker, because it was thrown right in the ring with a babyface. Makes no sense. At all. Whatsoever. And Baron Corbin wins the fucking end of days. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, I didn't really care for it.
I could have done without this. They did a bit where, like, Braun Breaker came in, they had, like, a Polar Pop Brawl, that was whatever. I'm not into this Baron Corbin, Braun Breaker feud. Baron Corbin, I don't think has a new character. I think they forgot to air a vignette. If you remember, they were doing all these vignettes teasing like he was gonna have a new gimmick, and then they didn't air like vignette 5 or something. Like, very Shawn Michaels of him to like completely miss a certain step of a storyline. That's very big of him. If you remember, either he put storyline stuff that should happen in the storyline in the wrong places, like when Eddie Thorpe kept challenging Dijak, it seemed like he already had a rematch, but then he cost him the title, so it was like that was weird. If you remember, he likes to put he puts things in the wrong order when he writes his storylines, and I think it's like a TV show getting canceled. Like, they do all this stuff, and then the last episode just never airs. That's what it feels like the Baron Corbin vignettes is. The last vignette never aired, so he never got to change into that character he was supposed to have. So it just seems like he's like the Baron Corbin that he was when he was on the main roster, just with new theme. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He doesn't seem any different at all. Like,
he doesn't. Besides the fact that his gear's different, he has a new back tattoo. That's the only thing that's changed about.
Yeah, so I wasn't into any of this stuff. Obviously, Briggs and Jensen, they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, they're just being jobbed out for no reason. No mention of the Miles Byrne turn at all. You know, there was no explanation that he gave. There was no confrontation. It just seems like they're moving on, type of thing. What, they're gonna bring the feud back up? But what's the point? Jensen jobbed out to Baron Corbin. No, sorry, not Jensen. Briggs jobbed out to Baron Corbin. They don't mean anything right now. Like,
they don't mean shit. I was like, wow, what a great fucking match. Baron Corbin, who's supposed to be the babyface in this feud, and Josh Briggs, who's a babyface, fighting each other. And that like makes no sense.
And I know I'm jumping the shark here, but Blanco Lima and Lucian Price can get a tag title shot at No Mercy, but Briggs and Jensen are off the freaking show. That doesn't add up. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
Dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Dumb as shit. So they're back from a commercial break, and Tripp Williams is walking into Shawn Michaels' office. That's interesting. Wonder what he could want.
Yeah.
Next, Hanky Tanky versus Out the Mud.
Oh my gosh.
Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. Terrible. The match sucked. Clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
Both teams are just not good. In fucking Hanky Tanky of matching fucking gear. Awesome. Don't care. Yeah, it's just stupid as shit. I really fucking don't care.
Let's.
It literally, first of all, why in the fuck did they randomly just earn a tag team title shot?
No, this wasn't even a shot at the tag team titles. This was so they could sit at the family table and all that type of stuff. Like,
fucking whatever it is, it's fucking dumb and stupid.
yeah. The Trick Williams segment I liked. Obviously, it set up something for later. I loved too. Shawn Michaels was trying not to be on TV. He was like telling Trick, "Yeah, come on and close the door." He like didn't want to be on TV that night. He was like trying not to. He was like shielding himself from the cameras and all that type of stuff. Like, what happened? He get camera shy all of a sudden? Like, what happened? But yeah, this tag time.
The old sexy boy wasn't one to be on camera anymore.
It was so weird. Like. Trick Williams had to halfway open the door. You could barely even see that Shawn Michaels was in there. He's like, "Yeah, come on in, shut the door." He's like, "Shut the door, the cameras in there. Hurry, shut the door."
Yeah, shut. Real quick, please, stop. Okay, get in there. Shut the door, please.
Shawn Michaels didn't want to be on cam, and it ties in later type of thing. But we'll talk about that.
Was he a fucking gremlin now?
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that tag match was really bad. Like I said, I've been tired of this. Blanco Lima and Lucian Price are not ready to be on TV. What are they doing on TV? This tag team's not good. The gimmick's not good. And again, they're the ones that are going to be having a match at the NXT Premium Live event. But Gallus and Briggs and Jensen and Malik Blade and Adrian Onofre are just going to be sitting at home doing nothing. Why is it Gallus in the match? They never even got a leave. Huh?
Teams that actually deserve to be there.
Yeah. And the reason they were fighting was stupid, just so they could get a spot at Gallus's table. Why wasn't the match booked a week beforehand? By the way, that didn't even really make sense. Because it didn't make sense because they had to clearly tape this segment ahead of time. So obviously it was obviously I don't know. And what if we were joking around, but we don't even know how far they had to travel. What if they hit traffic? They wouldn't have been able to go to dinner.
Yeah,
I know. It's just but this was.
What if it's stuck?
Huh? And
what if they went mudding and they're stuck in the mud?
Yeah. What if
they can't get out the mud?
What if they were putting the main event segment of the show? By the way, Shawn Michaels could have done that. What if they were putting the main event? They wouldn't have made it to dinner in time. Yeah, this was just What if they weren't hungry?
No, what if they showed up and just weren't hungry? The fuck's the point of going?
Yeah,
Oh, by the way, I ate before I came.
Well,
How the fuck you here then?
Well, we find out later on, Price and Nemo didn't even want to eat. They didn't even want to eat anyway. So why would they? If they didn't want to eat, why were they having this match? If they didn't want to eat, why were they trying to win the match so they could go talk to them about having a tag team title? I don't get it.
Bizarre, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like too. It should have been number one contenders, not to go eat at the table. That was just a really bizarre stipulation that didn't really.
Extremely bizarre.
So, how does Shawn Michaels decide who goes over people's houses, type of thing? Do we have to have a match so that do I have to go have a match with someone so I can go over your house? I guess that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's something that happens now. You gotta fight for the right to go over someone's house.
It's so weird. What if Hanky?
What do you eat?
What if Hanky? So
to eat at a table.
Did Hanky take it? Was Hanky taking banned from the family's house now? Then I don't get it.
I guess so. They have to be now because they didn't win.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I'm just gonna lump a few the next few segments together because it's more particularly long. But Gigi Dolan was backstage and lights go out and they come back on as she was warming up and looks like a struggle was ensued. And Blade was just fucking standing over her and calls her pathetic. Cool, I don't care. And then Dijak and Eddie Thorpe were walking around backstage. Great, awesome. They come back from break, and there's the hype for Australia and the Elimination Chamber next year. And, yeah. None of those segments were good.
They were weird. I will give the Blair Davenport Gigi Dolan a pass, because when they booked that match, I don't think they planned that Mustafa Ali was going to get released, so I think they had to take a match off so they could fit in that triple threat match, so I will give that a little bit of a pass. I mean, if any match should have been taken off, it should have been the freaking Thea Hale, Danny Palmer match. That match should have been off the show.
Fucking random as shit.
No, actually, the match that should have been taken off was that Bronco Nima Lucian Price tag match. That should have been off the freaking show. That should have even that didn't even belong it. That let alone didn't even belong on Level Up. So
yeah, horrible, just horrible. So then we go to the D'Angelo family dinner again, and Stacks is asking Garza and Carrillo about their tattoos and in honor of their grandfather, and about going after the tag titles. And the Creed brothers show up, and of course Brutus, being the fucking big beefcake that he is fucking hungry and he wants to eat.
You can't blame him.
That's what you do when you go to an outing like that. With this food, you don't eat ahead of time. You don't go there and go, I'm not hungry. You go there to eat.
Yep. Hey, well, I'll give Garza and Carrillo credit. They did eat at least. They just didn't wanna. They didn't want to eat because obviously they were there strictly on business type of thing. So I can't give them too much shit for that.
Yeah. And then Brutus, they made up double spicy meatballs for old Brudeye, and Julius is just all business. And then Brutus asked them if anyone died from food poisoning here, and that's pretty funny. Yeah. But then, yeah,
I thought the Creed brothers were awesome here, especially Brutus.
Yeah, that was great. It was actually a pretty funny segment. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
Now, next we go to Axiom and Tyler Bate, and they're just hanging out talking about the No More Contenders match. When Trick Williams rolls up and announces that he's now going to be in the match, and it's now a fatal 4-way match. I liked it. I like it a lot. Fucking Trick getting his just due. I love it.
It was awesome. I liked it. Yeah, good stuff.
Next we have Dijak versus Eddie Thorpe in a strap match, and at one point, they fight in front of the crowd, in front of Eddie Thorpe's daughter, and he's just beating the piss out of him in front of his own kid.
Yeah, there's
what evil human being.
There's no fight back either or anything like that. He's just kicking the crap out of him, type of thing. Like,
and his daughter looked horrified. So great. She's never gonna be able to fucking sleep ever again.
Well, don't forget what Steve Coakley pitched for Dijak's gimmick to be a couple weeks ago. So, where he just kidnaps people. So she's probably going to get kidnapped.
And then so Eddie Thorpe goes for an elbow drop with the strap and wins. It was a very physical, very brutal match. Eddie Thorpe went and made all the sense in the world for it to happen. But at the same time, I can't help but think, like, man, Dijak needs a fucking win in the worst way.
Yeah,
like he needs a fucking win. He could have benefited from a big win here. But yeah, I thought the match was still good either way.
Yeah, and then afterwards, Dijak attacks him and like completely. Again, he beats him up right in front of his family, ties him up in the ropes, and whips him with the strap and stuff. So that was. Yeah, I liked all of this. I don't know why they didn't put this match on No Mercy. I thought that would have really stood out and all that type of stuff. And I feel like we didn't really need the Dijak bit. I feel like this should have been the blow-off here. But, Shawn Michaels, he doesn't know when to blow off feuds when they need to be blown off. Every feud... If it was up to Shawn Michaels, I think every feud would just continue forever. They'd never end. So... I don't really think they needed the Dijak, like, beating them down type of thing. I think, like, we could have done without that, so...
I think they were trying to get his heat back.
Yeah.
Because of losses he had. But next, I'm just going to come back, because it's, like, two things in one. JC Jane's just waiting for Thea to come out to show her new ring gear. They go to commercial break, and they come back, and Blair Davenport steals Vic Joseph's headset. She's basically just taunting Gigi Dolan again for taking her out of action. And then we go to the match. It's Danny Palmer versus Thea Hale, and of course Thea wasn't going to lose. So yeah, Thea wins. Okay, so it's a so what?
Yeah, overall this was whatever. I didn't mind the Blair Davenport thing. Again, I'm giving it a pass just because they booked that match before the releases happened, and they had to scramble to come up with a new match. And then, yeah, the Thea Hale Danny Palmer match was whatever, The new look of Thea Hale, obvious. Booker T was very, he was very distracted during that match, I could say. And yeah, Vic Joseph fed into it too. He was egging Booker T on type of thing. So it was really funny. So, and yeah, obviously so she has new theme music now and everything like that. So, you notice, by the way, the star power of Thea Hale and the Usos. When the second the Usos get a new theme, they wasted no time releasing that on WWE music. Thea Hale got nothing. Her theme music,
Nothing.
you can't even find a new theme music right now. I think that's really hilarious.
You should. This is gonna ruin her. I think this heel turn.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever gonna be taken seriously again, type of thing. You know what the segment's gonna come out of this? She's gonna show up to like the Chase Youth in this outfit, and all the students, the male students, are gonna be like distracted and all that type of stuff. You know that segment's gonna happen. I think.
Oh yeah. Or they're just gonna have her be like, again. This is so obvious. I think this is where this is going. It's like Jace is gonna turn on her. She's gonna be like, "You were never my friend." It's like, okay, this has been done 7,000 times.
Yeah.
Like it's in WWE. It's been done so many fucking times. You can't even count how many fucking times it's been done.
And they did,
because you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and they did show like Chase U watching, and when Thea Hale and JC Jane hugged, she had an evil smile. So there's obviously some type of plan here. I don't know why JC Jane wants to take down Chase U. Like I don't know what happened. But
It's bizarre.
yeah, it just.
Why can't people have fun?
I guess not. Yeah.
Fun never exists.
Yeah.
She's a very funny person.
By the way, wait to put over Danny Palmer. They announced that she's going to be in this freaking breakout tournament. She just got jobbed out right here. Yeah, that means she's not winning the tournament. You know that now. So.
I mean, fuck that. She's not winning. She's not winning ever again.
Yeah.
So backstage, then Trick Williams goes in to find Carmelo. He finds him, but Melo really isn't listening because he's got a lot on his mind. And Trick just tells him to handle his own business, and he walks away and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I don't really like the fact that they did that. They could have just like not shown that or anything like that. You could have had Carmelo just be really excited for him that he's getting a chance at the North American Championship instead of just like not even giving a shit. I felt like that was really weird.
Well, I mean, it's Shawn Michaels. He's got to break up a tag team somewhere. So
He's gonna do it.
That's how you make sense out of it. It's Shawn Michaels doesn't like tag teams, so that's why this is happening. So it doesn't make sense that they're doing this, but it makes sense because of who's booking the show.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, exactly. Mr. fucking Mumbo Jumbo. Fucking can't make up his mind. Mr. Back and Forth.
Yeah.
So Dragon Lee makes his entrance, so they go to break, and they come back from break, and of course they do the fucking same thing they always do.
What the hell was going on?
Where Baron Corbin is now cutting a promo on his way out of the building, and he's basically saying that Braun Breaker is going to get his ass kicked at No Mercy. Which is like, they love doing this. They love hey, we're going to have someone do their entrance, so this is going to be a promo set up in the ring, then we're going to come back from it, it's going to go on to complete something completely different. That has nothing to do with anything going on. And then we're going to get to the match.
I think it happens at NXT more than any other show, too. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's like entrance, commercial break, back from commercial break, random segment, match.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with the segment that just aired.
I went live to SmackDown recently, and they did this for, I think, Austin Theory when he came out, and then they showed, like, a Bloodline segment. And Austin Theory had to, it was so goofy. He was, standing, he had to go outside the ring, and he was watching the segment outside the ring. It was so goofy. He was, talking to somebody, too, still trying to get heat, and, no one was really paying attention because they're trying to watch the Bloodline segment. It's so weird that they do this.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. But yeah, I feel like it's the only it's the only company that does it.
I know.
It's really weird.
I think Impact probably does it, but it's taped though too. So I think I don't think it's actually happening that way. I'm pretty sure they add the segments in later on and all that, edit it in and all that type of stuff. But it's live TV, as Vince would say. It's live TV, pal. We're live. Well, you know,
We're live, pal. Live to tape, pal.
yeah.
So now we get to that match. It's the Fatal 4-Way match. It's Axiom versus Dragon Lee versus Trick Williams versus the title debate for an NXT North American Championship #1 contendership match. This match, I'm just gonna say, just fucking watch it for yourself because it was that fucking good. Trick Williams wins. He gets added to the match. I feel like it was kind of going that way as the night was progressing.
Yeah.
I feel like once he got added, it's like, okay, he's gonna win. But like, it was awesome. The match was great. Trick Williams is your new #1 contender for the North American Championship. Yeah, the match was fantastic. Go anywhere and watch it.
Yeah, and I love the way he won too, where like he didn't even really like win, like Dragon Lee knocked him down type of thing, and then he just like fell over and all that type of stuff. It was a really great finish, and I figured like it was either going to be him or Dragon Lee or Tyler Bate just to kind of make it up to Tyler Bate, but I thought, you know, I didn't think Dragon Lee would win just because, you know, he just had a match and lost pretty definitively on Raw the night before. But yeah, Trick Williams makes sense. Dragon Lee is still going to be in there somehow, but we'll talk about that later. But overall, I like this, and yeah, again, I think I will give a pass. There's not much storyline build up to it, just because they had to do this last minute, which is why I'm also giving a pass. Like they had to make Gigi Dolan kind of look like a fool at the expense, just because when they booked the Gigi Dolan Vlad Davenport match, they didn't anticipate that Mustafa Ali was going to be out of the company, so they had to basically book a new North American title match, and I think this would be great. The only thing that sucks about it is we don't get like this big promo segment between, you know, Trick Williams and Dominic Mysterio. But again, I feel like if, you know, had Mustafa Ali not gotten released, it wouldn't have happened. So, yeah, but yeah, I was overall I'm overall happy that they went with Trick Williams. I think he's gonna do really well.
I'm excited for it.
Actually excited for a Dom match. Oh no!
Oh, well, look who's in the match! Trick Williams, baby.
That's true.
Trick Willie. Trick Willie is the key component of this match. If not, Fat Slob would be eating fucking chicken tenders on his couch.
He still might.
So we cut back to the D'Angelo family and their final fucking segment. Thank God, because we're getting very monotonous.
This last one's really bad too.
They finally fucking show up out the mud. They finally got out of the mud finally.
I guess
they must have been fucking mudding somewhere because now they're out the mud.
Even though they weren't even covered in mud, but whatever.
Tony makes a joke about Tony D made a joke about Scripps' height because he's fucking small. Yeah, basically, I'm not even gonna fucking fuck it. It just basically sets up a fucking fatal 4-way match for the tag titles at No Mercy. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, they didn't do a good job of setting up the tag title match. Like, it feels like they had to scramble to come up with a tag title match. So it's just like, and that's Sean's fault. He had like weeks to book a tag title match, and this was the best he could come up with. Like, this is a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he didn't even he didn't build a tag team at all for a tag title match. He was too busy wasting time. But again, it makes sense that the tag title match was added on a whim because Sean couldn't be asked to book a solid tag division.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why he couldn't just book a solid tag division.
Because he doesn't like tag teams. That's why.
Exactly. Because in 1982, the Rockers broke up and he fucking super kicked Mighty Jannetty in the face and tossed him through a fucking glass window in the barbershop, and then it was the end. And he hated tag teams ever since then.
Did you say in 1998 that happened?
1992.
Oh, I thought you said 1998. I'm like, what? That was...
1992.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was 1998, there'd be a big difference.
I was gonna say you messed up big time, by the way. Like,
so Dum Dum is interviewed next, and he says he's not impressed at all that Shawn Michaels threw a curveball his way. Of course, why would you ever be excited about a curveball being thrown your way?
I mean, this is what happens when you block him on Twitter. I'm sorry, X. When you block him on X.
And he's gonna whip that trick just like he whipped Dragon Lee's ass, and who he thanks for the black eye. Interesting. And then fucking Dragon Lee comes in, and just fucking kicks him. And
Yeah.
then the referee pulled him away. I loved it. It was great. It was fucking great.
I feel like if you were a referee in that segment, you would have even pulled away Dragon Lee. You would have let him.
I know that, but like, you know what? Go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
Did you ever see that segment backstage where like Wade Barrett and Skip Sheffield get into a fight? It was obviously a backstage sin, and William Regal just let them fight. He didn't even like pull them away or anything like that. Like that would be you right there with Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. You would have just let Dragon Lee beat the crap
Put
out
my
of him.
hands up and be like, you know what, boys? Handle your business.
I feel like too once
By
Dom.
handle your business, I mean Dragon kick his ass, and if Dom takes the slightest advantage, I'm breaking it up.
I feel like that was gonna be totally you. Yeah.
I'll pull him away, and as I'm pulling him away, I'll let him go, and then I'll let Dragon Lee beat his ass again. So now Carmelo is walking backstage, and he catches up with Trick Williams, and he's now excited the fact that for some reason now he's excited for Trick. And they celebrate together, and they said they're both going to walk out of No Mercy as champions.
We'll see.
Which I fucking hope, because that'd be amazing. And it should be. They literally both should walk out as champion. Both of them.
We'll see.
Meaning that Dum shouldn't be North American champion anymore.
We'll see.
That's enough of him holding that title hostage. So they go back from commercial break, and there's this vignette that plays, and it's of WCW Saturday Night. And who wrestled on WCW Saturday Night before? Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
Who is this promo for? Brian Pillman Jr.
There you go. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's BPJ. It's Brian Pillman Jr. It's fucking awesome. I can't wait. Probably this week you're probably going to see a silhouette of his flowing, luscious blonde locks. Watching from behind, probably watching TV or whatever. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm definitely. It's like. I mean, as soon as I saw that, I was like, it's Brian. It's him. Like, it's obvious. And they're not showing WCW Saturday Night footage for fucking Hank Walker or whatever.
But yeah, this is
some random fucking some random Olympic wrestler that they signed.
But yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's finally getting this opportunity, and I think he's going to be used really well in NXT. I say that watching him lose like his first 6 matches or something. Like,
Oh, he's going to be jobbed out, and then go to the main roster and beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
yeah. You know what's great too? I think he's not skipping NXT, but he's not skipping Level Up, because usually if they sign somebody new, they start out on Level Up for a few weeks. But no, he's going right to the NXT, which I think is great. I don't think he doesn't need Level Up. He doesn't need any of that stuff. So
No, he does. He's too good for that shit.
yeah.
So now it's the contract signing between Mello and Ilya Dragunov for their match at No Mercy. It's basically it's more of the same from what they did in their last contract signing. Nothing was really any different here. I'm not really going to go over it. Like, it's a lot of the same shit that they had done before. So they both signed the contract, and Vic Joseph says that he just got word that from Shawn Michaels that the special guest referee for the for the match at No Mercy is Dragon Lee for the North American Championship, which makes sense because he has a he has a vested interest in that North American Championship match.
Yeah, so it makes sense. Gets him on the show too.
It does too. It keeps him sort of. I feel like whoever wins, I feel like he's going to be the next challenger. Like, if Trick wins, I think Dragon Lee is next challenger, and I think if Dom wins, they continue the feud.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I liked the contract signing. I thought a lot of them made a lot of points. They threw another tease in there that they're breaking up Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, because Mello was mentioning that he's like the best in NXT, even better than, and he was mentioning other people, and Trick Williams was one of the people that he mentioned. Not that he mentioned like he's better than the people that Dragunov is beaten, type of thing. So it's like, yeah, and Dragunov pointed it out and all that type of stuff. So it's intrigue there. So I was the contract side at the end of the show, but there's a different segment that ended the show. What do you want to talk about?
So they cut abruptly to Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin fighting in the parking lot and whatnot. Braun tries to attack Corbin, and Corbin sidesteps him, and he goes right through a door. It's just basically they beat the shit out of each other, and I think it's Corbin lands a chokeslam on the hood of the car, and Braun Breaker just immediately fucking no-sells and hits him and grabs him in a sleeper hold, and then they fight each other off and whatnot, and it just ends in a pull apart.
Yeah.
Again. It was. I mean, again, it sets up the match. It adds a little bit more physicality for that match because now it's more a blood feud than just a random fucking match of people who hated Von Wagner. But now it just adds a little bit more intrigue to the match, I guess.
Yeah, I guess this was fine. Braun Breaker speared Baron Corbin through Shawn Michaels' office. Shawn Michaels was calling for people, and the camera was trying not to film Shawn. He's like, guys, get in here! He's trying to get everybody in there. He did not want to.
Was he changing?
He did not want to be on camera at all. On Tuesday, I don't know what was going on. But I wish the contract signed at the end of the show. I thought that was way better than this segment. I felt like this segment just felt really out of place and all that type of stuff. I would have had the contract signed at the end of the show. Thought that was way more impactful and all that type of stuff. But it is what it is. I will say it was more Well, I wouldn't say it was more impactful than what happened at the end of Dynamite, but at least it was built into the pay-per-view. Because what happens at the end of Dynamite this week is not built into the pay-per-view at all, which is really odd. It's intriguing, but not hyping up Wrestle Dream, so at least this was hyping up No Mercy in a way. So, yeah, that's NXT. Overall, I thought NXT was good. I'll give it a B-. I feel like there's some sins. Again, the booking is what really hurts this show, because there was some great stuff on it, but just some of the things, booking-wise, I really love on this show. The breakup of Chase U. Again, I'm giving a pass of G.D. Dolan and Vlad Davenport's match being off just because, obviously, they had to make a change. I thought the family dinner segment was very... there was some of it that was good, but I thought it overstayed its welcome a little bit. And then the frickin' tag match without Out the Mud and Hank and Tank, it was frickin' terrible, so... and no Tiffany Stratton on the show. They do a video package, but, it's whatever. We didn't have to see Tiffany Stratton, so that's awesome. I think... Tiffany Stratton's days in the NXT title picture is coming to an end, hopefully. So, there you go. How about you grade NXT?
I had the same complaints as you also, and I give it a B- too.
I'll cover Level Up, and then we'll do predictions for NXT, and then I'll cover the bump in SmackDown. Level Up took place last night, September 29th, 2023. Commentary team was Byron Saxon and Blake Howard. We had Fallon Henley versus Ariana Grace. This was Ariana Grace's first match back in WWE since her injury. Ironically enough, it was the same person that injured her to begin with that she faced, which is really ironic. She's doing a new gimmick where she's Miss NXT now, where she's, very early stages. She's trying to declare things and all that type of stuff. We'll see if it takes off. Because clearly she can't do the gimmick she was before, because now Kiana James has that gimmick, and, can't have two people having the same gimmick. They had an okay match, obviously. Ariana Grace tries to cheat the win by using the ropes, but the ref catches it, and then Thea Hale rolls her up and gets the win, so... Not Thea Hale, Fallon Henley rolls her up and gets the win. So this match was okay, nothing too special. Then we had Riley Osborne get interviewed, and he talks about how he looks forward to making a name for himself on the NXT brand and all that type of stuff. He faces Miles Bourne, and Miles Bourne beats him with a Dragon Sleeper and makes him tap out. But the match was really good. I think Riley Osborne's awesome. He's been a veteran in the Indies for a while, so obviously he's going to do well. I don't know why he can't just go right to NXT TV, but, there's not a spot for him right now, but I definitely think when it's time for him to go to NXT TV, he's going to smash it. So that's going to be awesome. Then we had Earl Mensa versus Tavion Heights. This was good stuff. They were clearly they had to mention that Noam Dar had a title match coming up, but they couldn't mention who his opponent was because this was taped before NXT, but they had to try to go around it, which was funny. But eventually, Earl Mensa wins with just a kick to the head, and that was it. He just won. So, but Tavion Heights looked really good in this match. I don't know why they stopped the team up with him and Damon Kemp, because they were a really good tag team and Level Up for a few weeks. I would like it if Tavion Heights got into a feud with Drew Gulak's stable, or joined the stable or whatever, but, it's too much to ask. Level Up was okay. I'll give it like a C+. The thing that hurt it was I watched it right after SmackDown, and I was just done watching wrestling at that point. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch it.
A lot to take in.
Yeah, so that was a lot to take in. So Level Up was okay. Better than Level Up usually is. So, Byron Saxton was very cranky on Level Up this week. I don't know what was going on with him. So,
and he's pissed off because he doesn't do much interviewing.
Yeah, he wasn't on the show much this week. So, let's cover No Mercy now. Do the predictions for that. Obviously, you have to do your predictions first because you're the champ. And again, if there's a tag match. So, we have the NXT Tag Team title match. It's going to be the Family defending against Out the Mud, the Creed Brothers, and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Who do you think is going to win that match, and who takes the pin?
This is interesting. Like, I'm really torn between the Family or Humberto and Angel. I'm really torn between those two for winning. But I'm going to go Humberto and Angel winning, and I think no matter what, I think Out the Mud gets pinned.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I'm going to go actually the Family to retain. Out the Mud gets pinned. I think Humberto and Angel will win them in a traditional 2-on-2 tag match. I think, I don't get why they're doing a 4-way. They could have just done a traditional tag match. But again, this is Sean's fault because he couldn't be asked to build up that feud quick enough. So, whatever.
I just feel like Out the Mud's there just to eat the pin because none of those other teams can really afford to lose.
Yeah, so they had to. Again, Gallus could be in there because Gallus can afford a loss, but whatever. But next, we have the North American title match. Dirty Dominic Mysterio defending against Trick Williams with Dragon Lee as the special guest referee. Who do you think's gonna win that match?
I'm gonna say Trick Willie. I think Trick Williams is gonna win.
I'm going to go Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I think somehow, some way, he's going to cheat. And he's going to force Dragon Lee to have to make the count. And, it'll get some great heat on Dom and all that type of stuff. I don't think it's time to take the title off him yet. I think Dragon Lee should be the one to dethrone him. But we'll see. We will see.
I just think with the momentum that Trick Williams is having right now, I feel like it's time. Dom's held it for a long time now. He could hold it for a bit longer. I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Dom winning. But also wouldn't surprise me either if Trick Willie wins too also.
Yeah, so only time will tell. And then we have the Extreme Rules match for the NXT Women's Championship. It's going to be Becky Lynch defending her championship against Tiffany Stratton. Who do you got winning this match?
Becky.
Yeah, it was Becky. I feel like this is going to be Tiffany Stratton's end for a title run, so we will see.
Oh.
What?
Really hope so.
Yeah.
Because she's fucking terrible.
Then we have Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. Who do you think's winning this match?
I like how this is just a fucking singles match.
Yeah, not like a...
And not like a stipulation or anything like that.
Especially with what they did on Tuesday and everything like that. Like
a Falls Count Anywhere. Falls Count Anywhere seems like, because they kind of have Extreme Rules match kind of set, or in a, the British rounds match like this. If they did like a Falls Count Anywhere match, I think that would best suit this.
Yeah, but
I think Braun's gonna win.
Yeah, I think so. He just took out Von Wagner recently. I think they want to build him up as like this monster, so that when he comes back, that's somebody for Braun Breaker to take out. They both really can't afford a loss because Baron Corbin hasn't had a big win in a while, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Then we have the British Rounds Rules match for the Heritage Cup. It's Noam Dar defending against Pete Dunne. And apparently it says here that Tyler Bates going to be in Pete Dunne's corner, which I think is awesome. What do you think's winning that match?
I'm gonna say Pete Butch Dunne.
I agree, actually. I think Pete Dunne, it's the only real accolade he hasn't had in the UK. So I think if he won this, it'd be awesome. And again, they're doing this whole thing where they want to make NXT a third brand. I think Pete Dunne winning the Heritage Cup would be a good path to that. So, and apparently
I think that's the best option, honestly.
Yeah. And apparently on the pre-show, they're doing Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan. This was set up because she challenged Blair Davenport doing the exclusive. I think it's pretty obvious Blair Davenport wins. I think Kalani Jordan will have a good show, and I imagine she's going to be the person that wins the breakout tournament this year. Because she's the only one out of like the new recruits that's really been showcased recently. But I think Blair Davenport's going to get the... We'll get the win, but they'll do the thing, where Kalani Jordan's going to have like a really good showing in the match and everything like that. But yeah, who do you think will win this?
I think it's going to be Blair Davenport, but I agree with you on that too. I think Kalani Jordan's going to really... this is going to be like a showcase match for her.
Because she obviously... I think the good thing about Dana Brooke being released is she can finally break out on her own now. She doesn't have to do this terrible thing.
Her own goddamn thing.
Yeah, so that's good.
I agree with that. I say that too. Like this is really like a do or die moment for her.
Yeah.
Like, can she do with? I mean, obviously it's pretty easy to do with anything without Dana Brooke because she's fucking atrocious. But the way they were kind of going was like, is she ready to go on her own?
Now they have to rush that storyline. So then we have the main events. I think it's going to be Ilya Dragunov challenging Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. They could put the belt on Dragunov, but I think he's due for a main roster call-up soon. So I think Carmelo Hayes is going to retain his championship. I don't see... Unless Dragunov really goes heel and just destroys him type of thing, and Trick Williams has to like come and throw in the towel, but I think they're going to give the win to Carmelo Hayes. I don't think it's time to take the title off him yet. What do you think? Oh, shit! I just gave my prediction first. I wonder who you're picking.
I was picking the person anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Hey, at least I didn't make the mistake.
I really don't even get, like, I was picking Carmelo Hayes anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
But at least I didn't pull a Steve Coakley and put all my...
the one.
I didn't say...
I was, even if I wasn't thinking, I'm picking Dragunov. No, I was picking Carmelo Hayes anyway.
There you go. So that's our predictions for No Mercy. Let's go over the bump now. The host of the bump took place on September 27th, 2023. The hosts of the bump were Megan Morant, Matt Camp, and Ryan Popola. They broke down the week of WWE. They talked about that. They couldn't believe some of that stuff happened. They just couldn't believe it. Rey Mysterio got interviewed, and he talked about his upcoming match coming up with Santos Escobar and how he looked up to his father, his uncle, I forget what he was, but how he looked up to him. And
that's his uncle.
He talked about like the representation towards the LWO, and he says that he hopes that Santos Escobar wins it type of thing. He doesn't want Santos Escobar to take it easy on him. He wants him to bring his A game. And he talked about how, he's still happy for Dominic Mysterio, but he just doesn't like the career path. And he does say that if an opportunity came up, he would want to do a title versus title match. U.S. champion versus North American champion, and he would like to, put Dom Mysterio in his place. But he does say that, he's happy that Dominic Mysterio is finally breaking out on his own, even though if he doesn't like the way he's going about it and all that type of stuff. And then, that was the interview. I thought Ray had a good interview. And then they went to continue doing the breakdown, and the Street Profits came in and just completely interrupted him. So the Street Profits did the breakdown along with him. And immediately they asked the Street Profits about what happened last week on SmackDown, and they just talked about, how they had a moment of conscience. They didn't want to take the cheap victory that way. And they brought on Bobby Lashley. Poor Bobby, he was having a ton of technical issues, so he really couldn't bring a lot to the table. But he pretty much just talked about with the Street Profits that, he wants them to be extra aggressive. He wants them to show him that they really want to do business with him. And they said that, when you want to be on top in the WWE, you can't just, you can't be nice in this business. You have to be mean. He talks about how there's been times where he's had friends in this business and he's done dirty tactics, but we've gone out and stayed friends afterwards. But when you're in the ring, you don't have any friends. And then there was one point where they asked Bobby if things had been patched up, and he was clearly having technical issues, so he was just, I don't think he was able to hear them, but he just says, I don't know, and he just kept saying, I don't know. And he had to clearly something was going on because he had to get off abruptly. But the thing that we were meant to take from it was meant to be like a hook, where like they're like, okay, you're just gonna have to see how it plays out on SmackDown. Like the Street Profits were very distraught, but that's not, I don't think, what happened. He was having Wi-Fi issues, so he was just like, I don't know. I think he legitimately the Wi-Fi booted him off the call, so it was like, it was really weird. But that was the bump. I thought the bump was good. It's very inconsequential, though, because obviously if you watch SmackDown, they completely didn't even act like, that this segment even happened between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. It wasn't even brought up or anything like that. But
good for them.
Relatively good stuff. I'll give the bump like a B-. I always enjoy hearing Ray talk shit about his son nowadays and all that type of stuff. And again...
An asshole.
Huh?
His son's an asshole,
yeah,
that's why.
So I thought this was relatively good stuff. Let's go over SmackDown now. It took place on September 29th, 2023. The commentary team was Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Kevin Patrick. It kicked off with the Bloodline, and Jey Uso, was trying to take charge. Paul Heyman talks about how they basically publicly acknowledged the tribal chief. I was actually thinking they were going to do a thing, I hope this happens one week, where, like, Paul Heyman calls, he does the whole thing where he says, call Roman Reigns. I would like him to call Roman Reigns. I thought it was going to happen this week, and, like, Roman Reigns was going to show up on the big screen. I thought that would have been awesome. I kind of hope... Cool. I hope they do that one week, because it did seem like it was going that way. But Jey Uso signals for the microphone as if he's the tribal chief, and Paul Heyman doesn't want to give him the mic, and then Jimmy rips the mic out of his hand, and he talks about... Because Heyman reveals that John Cena's having travel issues. That's why John Cena's not there. And Jimmy says that the whole reason John Cena's right here is just because he's scared of what the Bloodline will do to him. And he's basically talking shit to John Cena. Carl Anderson attacks the Bloodline from behind. And he says that he's doing this because he did warn AJ Styles not to get involved in Bloodline business. But now you've made it OC business. I guess it wasn't OC business when they were beating the shit out of AJ last week. Where was he then? But,
it wasn't then, but it is now.
Yeah. So then Solo basically tells Jimmy to handle it before he has to, and we have a little match between Jimmy and Carl. It was okay. Jimmy hits a super kick and splash. It was pretty much a squash. I thought Anderson could have put up a little bit more of a fight. But, it's just not his position right now. Afterwards, he still tries to attack Jimmy, but Solo just lays him out with the Samoan spike. And when the Bloodline leave, Michin Mia Yim comes out and just slaps the absolute taste out of Jimmy Uso's mouth. And, they just kind of leave. So, and this was a mistake by Mia Yim because it leads to a bunch of chaos later in the night. Backstage, right after this, Jimmy Uso just attacks several backstage personnel. Like, he's not happy about this. But for what this was, I thought this was good. I think we've talked about this before. They've completely just gone ass backwards now with Jimmy Uso. The whole thing is he thinks he's in the Bloodline, but the whole thing that's coming out of it is Roman hasn't said he's back in the Bloodline. But again, this just really doesn't make any sense. Like, the fact that, Jimmy's trying to get into the Bloodline. We've talked about this when we did the SummerSlam review. He's the whole reason the Bloodline's even where it is right now, because he's the one that started all of this in the begin with, and now all of a sudden he wants back into the Bloodline. Like, this is kind of, I don't think it's not the Bloodline's jump the shark moment, but it's kind of like the first big blunder of the Bloodline booking. Like, then I think this is just never gonna work for me. And Jimmy's really struggling on SmackDown. I think he's in a main event angle. But he's not the story on SmackDown. Like, Jay's the story on Raw. He's the main thing going on Raw. Like, this is why I don't think Jimmy and Jay main events Mania, because Jimmy has not done enough to really earn a main event slot at WrestleMania this year. Jay has, but Jimmy hasn't. But overall, how did you feel about how all these segments play out? And what do you think of it? Because you haven't really been able to talk about it much because he hasn't, the weeks Jimmy's been on, you haven't done the show. How do you feel about how everything's gone down with Jimmy Uso post, Usos split up and everything like that?
it's really weird. Just really weird. Like Jimmy, like he's like overly way too cocky. Like this week, like he grabs the microphone from Paul Heyman and goes, "The bloodline is in your city." They do the ones, and it's like, dude, you're not in the bloodline yet.
I know.
That was really weird, and he deserved the slap. Slap the absolute taste out of his mouth. But yeah, I think they're going ass backwards with this, and it's just going to lead to Jimmy being in the bloodline anyway, like we said when it first happened.
I feel like this story has really struggled too without Roman being there. Like, I know Roman has a tendency to not be there, but I feel like him not being there for this long, especially for a crucial part of the storyline like this, has really suffered. I don't think it hurt SmackDown that much, but it hurt the Bloodline storyline more than anything else. Like, once he comes back, I think the Bloodline storyline will be fondly remembered, type of thing. I know. But I just don't think Jimmy can carry the storyline. Like, I think that's the thing too. Like, they don't have Jay on SmackDown right anymore. And yeah, it's just I think I don't think the Bloodline storyline's jumped the shark, but it's without Roman being there, it's a real like struggle type of thing. And again, I think because there's been so much other things going on, like that's caused this to kind of dwindle. Like obviously they had the week where where Edge had his retirement then or whatever, so he wasn't there, and then Bray Wyatt passed, so that affected the storyline a little bit. And then yeah, Jay moving to Raw too. I think really made it suffer. Like honestly, again, it's a good thing John Cena's there. What the hell would this storyline be like if there was no John Cena right now? Like, John Cena kind of came back at a perfect time type of thing, because this storyline would really be struggling, I think, without John Cena. But yeah, how do you feel about this? Like Roman not being there type of thing. Like, do you think? I feel like it's kind of making the Bloodline storyline struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it's without Roman, this thing's like really going off the rails.
Yeah. So
in terms of not in a good way, they're not like, oh, the storyline's getting good, it's getting crazy. It's like it's going ass backwards.
Yeah.
And without Roman, it's like, okay, can we do something different that it doesn't have like Jimmy involved with the bloodline?
I know, yeah.
And now it's like, I guess Cena being in it's kind of cool, but like in this feud I like it, but it's just like it's going ass backwards, and it's not what you want it to get. You want it to keep moving forward. You don't want to keep going backwards.
Something felt like change, by the way, too, because it started out that Jimmy didn't want to be in the bloodline, but he was just doing this because he didn't want Jay to become tribal chief like Roman. But I definitely think something changed. I think Vince changed the story a little bit, just because it seems.
Oh, because Jimmy's acting like the tribal chief.
Yeah, so it's like you could say it's him, being condescending and all that type of stuff, but it just seems like this is going completely ass backwards and all that type of stuff. I feel like too, if it leads to Roman just turning on Jimmy anyways, it ruins Jimmy's heel turn and all that type of stuff. Like,
just ruins it.
Yeah, and again,
not that Jimmy's even progressing at all. It's the same. It's just I don't know.
I think
he's just good.
It does
right now.
It does.
He's not good on his own.
Yeah, it doesn't help too.
He's not good. He's just not good on his own.
Yeah, it doesn't help too. Every week. Except last week, he's been made to look like a fool every week. Have his turn.
Made to look like a bitch every fucking week.
Yeah,
he gets his ass kicked every week.
Yeah, so it's like
he's the one who's eating the finishers. He's the one who's getting his ass kicked.
And by the way, you know who's fucking taking the pin too in that fucking tag match. By the way, it's gonna
not Solo.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking Jimmy. So what's the point? What was the point of his turn? He's just a loser now. Like,
they're not gonna pin the younger brother. They're gonna pin the oldest brother.
Yeah. I lump these again. I talk about the bloodline backstage. Then, Santos Escobar gets interviewed, and he talks about how much he's looking forward to his U.S. title match with Rey Mysterio tonight, and he says that even though he's his idol, this is a dream that came true, but he's not going to hesitate to take the title from him. So. Overall, that was relatively good stuff. I liked that. And then we had the Grayson Waller effect with Bobby Lashley. Grayson Waller was awesome here. He, talks about how Bobby he shits on Bobby Lashley for not being like a good mentor and all that type of stuff, and he says that he's not a good talent scout, and he says that Bobby Lashley needs that Grayson Waller rub, like all these other people have gotten. He mentions all these people have been better off when they've been on the Grayson Waller show, like Cena and all that type of stuff, and then Bobby Lashley comes out and. Bobby Lashley says that, I don't really think he gets to talk all that much. Grayson Waller tries to have Bobby Lashley manage them, but he's not interested. And the Street Profits come out, and Bobby Lashley doesn't want to hear it from them. He says that, he needs to prove themselves that he still wants to be here. He doesn't want to hear any excuses, so he walks off. The Street Profits go up to him, and they're like, what do we need to do? And Bobby Lashley he's just yelling at them, like, prove it to me, prove it. He's just yelling at them. And then Grayson Waller thinks this is awkward, so he brings out, Austin Theory to try to get the numbers back up since he's Mr. 2 million views man, because of the Rock segment and everything like that. And Grayson Waller mentioned it's because of Theory, it's not because of the Rock. The Rock was just trying to load off of, Austin Theory's coattails. He said that he's still trying to find the Rock, too. The Rock's still backing away from him and all that type of stuff. And, yeah.
Here we go look for him then.
He tried. He was backstage at his entrance, and there was no Rock there. He tried. He did the best he could. What more do you want from him?
Howard.
How did you feel about the segment overall? I thought it was good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. I liked it a lot. I liked it. It was very good. It was very good.
Then it shows a video package for Dragon Lee. Again, I don't know why we needed another one, but we got another one. It shows him in the crowd. And then it's Cameron Grimes versus Austin Theory. Cameron Grimes got a jobber entrance. So you knew where this was going. And eventually Theory throws him headfirst into the post, followed by the rolling dropkick, followed by the A-Town Down, which Grimes sold really well. And Austin Theory wins. Poor Cameron Grimes, the dude gets called up to the main roster and is basically being jobbed out. And then afterwards, Austin Theory is upset because he's taking offense to the fact that he felt like Dragon Lee's video package took away from his spotlight. So he tries to get into a fight with Dragon Lee, but security holds him back and everything like that. And this is going to set up to a match next week on SmackDown between Dragon Lee and Austin Theory, which is good stuff. How did you feel about this? I thought this was relatively good stuff.
Yeah, all of it was good. Austin Theory getting angry because a video package that's really just small dick energy, but
yeah. And then Rey Mysterio gets interviewed. More stuff about, more stuff that he said on the bump. He wants Santos Escobar to really take it to him and all that type of stuff. And then backstage, the Bloodline are beating the crap out of Ashante the Adonis. Eventually Solo hits a spinning solo onto Adonis through a table. And that was that. I thought this was good, they're basically trying to take out all possible people that could be John Cena's partner. Not like Cena was gonna pick Ashante the Adonis to be his partner, but I guess it can't be safe. I guess it better be safe than sorry, though. But how did you feel about this? I thought this was good.
Oh, God damn it! I thought it was gonna be Ashante the Adonis that was gonna be his tag team partner.
Not anymore.
Come on, that's not fair.
I know.
Come on.
Then we had the United States Championship match. It was Rey Mysterio defending against Santos Escobar. This match was awesome. Very back and forth. This is the match I think they wanted to have, obviously, a month ago. But obviously, because of the Rey injury, it didn't happen. During the match, it showed the Bloodline beating down people backstage. I don't really think that was necessary. I thought that was, I just felt it took away from the match a little bit. I didn't really think that was necessary, but they wanted to get the thing, this stuff is still going on backstage, but it's don't do that for the U.S. title match you've been hyping for 2 weeks. But, imagine doing that during the IC title match between Walter and Chad Gable. When Walter's going to break the record, they just cut to a segment back. It's just so stupid. Eventually, like Santos is trying to hit everything that he can on Ray, but Ray keeps kicking out, and Santos basically just wants Ray to stay down at this point. But Ray says there has to be a winner, and eventually Ray beats him with a roll-up. He just barely beats Santos, and Santos is very distraught about it. And he obviously is distraught because, this was his big opportunity. And Ray goes for a handshake, but before Santos can shake his hand or anything like that, the Street Profits attack Ray and Santos from behind. Bobby Lashley's happy about this. And during this, Joaquin Wilde tries to attack Lashley. And Lashley just lays him out with a back elbow. Like, yeah, he didn't even see him coming. Like, he just lays him out pretty much. And they beat up Raul Mendoza. They hit Joaquin Wilde with the, I forget what they call it, but it's a sky high into a neck breaker combination. And Dragon Lee tried to jump the barricade to make the save, but because he's not on the roster, he wasn't allowed to, even though he's signed by the company, but whatever. Yeah, I thought all of this was good. I like the U.S. title match here. You did plant the seed for something to happen in the future between Ray and Santos. But, you got the Street Profits back into it. Now they're fully healed pretty much now, which I'm happy about. And I think now they can start to do some big business here. So, how'd you feel about this? I thought all of this was I'll give it 1 thumb up. I could have done without the bloodline thing, especially because it wasn't connected to anything. I just didn't really think that. I feel like that should have been just its own thing. But how did you feel about it? How did you feel about everything?
I thought it was pretty good. The match itself was good. Could have done, like you said, they could have done without the fucking bloodline interruption. And then the Street Profits jumping them from behind. It made sense because, again, it just like puts off like them shaking hands, just like something that they always do in WWE when they want a heel to be like mega heel, I guess. Then stopping Dragon Lee from coming to the aid of Mysterio and Escobar made no sense at all. I don't know why. He's signed to WWE. That means he can go on any fucking brand that he wants. When you're signed to a contract specifically in WWE, you can go on whatever brand he wants to. So I don't know why he was being stopped, even though there was a hype package for him that night on SmackDown.
I know, yeah. He was on Raw, so it's like...
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And he just had a match on Raw against Dom, so it's like, what is going on? Like, relax. Like,
I know, yeah.
Let him make the hero save.
He probably wasn't going to be successful anyways, but at least he could have tried. Like,
and then, Joaquin Wilde getting knocked unconscious with an elbow was awesome. Yeah, the Street Profits are strong as fuck.
Yeah, so
But they're now after teasing it for quite a while, they're finally heel. Let's see where that. I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes.
Yeah, I hope it leads to now new theme music and new personalities because it's time they can't have the theme music they have now if they're gonna go really heel now because that's way too much of a face theme. So, and then we have some breaking news. They announced they've been hyping up John Cena was going to show up, and they announced that his plane finally landed. He was on his way to the building, so John Cena was going to make it in time for SmackDown. Phew, I was getting worried there. I was worried he wasn't going to make it. We find out, because it does show him arriving later, apparently he was speeding, because he was coming up real fast and all that type of stuff. He was...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wonder how many the red lights he ran.
Yeah.
And how fast...
I mean, he has been in Fast and the Furious, so he has experience doing this, so it's like, good stuff,
He also has that WrestleMania entrance, too, when he drove through the glass 1,000 miles an hour.
I know. And then, we're going to cover this in the news section, but they announced it on SmackDown. This just shows you how big of a deal. They actually talked about, they spent a good minute or so. They mentioned Jade Cargill signed with WWE. Like, this just shows you they have big plans for Jade Cargill. They announced it on, it was Tuesday, because it was before NXT.
No, it was it was Tuesday before NXT. It was my birthday, so
yeah, so
it was awesome.
Yeah, Jade Cargill, they showed her going to the Performance Center, and they're hyping this up huge. They posted on X, like what future Dream opponents you want to see. Triple H has been posting about it. They've been showing her progress this week. at the Performance Center. They did ESPN did an interview with her, and she talked about like why she wanted to go to WWE. I think it's hilarious that she basically says this was the journey all on. I was going to make it to WWE, and we find out the biggest person that led her to sign in it was Mr. Cody Rhodes again. The AEW. We talked about it. This was going to be Cody was going to be a huge loss to AEW. This is even more proof of that now. Like, yeah, how do you feel about the big hype that's going into Jade Cargill right now?
Love it. She deserves it. She's been. This has been rumored for a few weeks now, and I'm just excited to see where it goes. I feel like with the right training, with the right everything, I think she can take her career to the next level.
Definitely.
It's going to be very interesting to see where they go. I wouldn't do undefeated streak because that kind of completely messed her up in AEW. I don't mind if they do it for like a little bit, few weeks, but she has to lose relatively early on in her career. She cannot have another undefeated streak, and then because it just will completely like barricade her in to like okay, who's gonna beat her? Who's gonna beat her? Who's gonna beat her? Like it wasn't AEW, and it's like okay, well she can't face X, Y, and Z because it would harm them more than it would harm her. Definitely. It's like she couldn't face Britt, she couldn't face you name it because she was an undefeated streak, and it just became too much of a headache. Yeah, definitely. And again, I think she's gonna have the right training and all that type of stuff. I think WWE is going to be a better fit for her anyways. And there's loads of stuff she can do in WWE. She can face, she could be the one that dethrones Becky for the title. She could dethrone Rhea for the title. There's loads of things she can do in WWE. So I don't know when, obviously, she's going to be on the main roster. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon, but I think it's going to happen sooner than we think. But I'm excited about it. And yeah, we'll see what she does. I think she's going to do really well in WWE. And yeah, another talent that AEW kind of squandered a little bit. And again, I think Cody's going to be that pipeline to get all this talent, that he's signed in AEW to WWE. So we'll see. Then, Pretty Deadly have a really funny video package showing their progress. Mainly Elton Prince. Elton John. Yeah, it was gonna happen someday. So, yeah, it's basically just showing him like miraculously recovering. I'm really happy for him. He was looking really bad in this wheelchair and all that type of stuff. Everyone's trying to downplay his injuries. Stop that. The guy's. Some injuries show worse than others. Like, the guy is really heartbroken. So, just stop. What do you think? I'll say this. Get your fucking ass out of that wheelchair. Get that thing. Maybe he thinks, maybe he has a thing where he it's a mental injury. He's trying to, get himself under control and all that type of stuff. So, and then it shows Pete Dunne and what's his name? The guy that injured him. I forget his name. Ridge Holland. I almost called him Duke Hudson. I don't know why, but Ridge Holland. It shows them watching, and they're just laughing. They said they're gonna hurt them more. It's wow. Wow. I don't think Pete Dunne's really laughing. I mean, he's the one that hurt him too. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. Good reaction, I guess. So, then we had Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Charlotte Flair was wondering what's going on with Bayley. It seems like she's just happy riding Io Sky's coattails. But she says it doesn't matter. She's not satisfied with it. She says, right after I beat you, I'm going to challenge Io Sky for the title at Fastlane. And then we have that match. It's a really good match. Obviously not to the standards as usual, but, it's still really good. I feel like this match should have been put in the place of the U.S. title match, and the U.S. title match should have been placed here, but that's just my opinion. And Charlotte won with a spear.
And then afterwards, Bailey's upset. They go to jump Charlotte. And then Asuka runs out to make the save. And Asuka's just saying stuff in Japanese. And Bailey's just like, okay, yeah, you want a triple threat match? Well, you got it at Fastlane. But Io Sky's like, yeah, no, that's not what you said. So, yeah, that was interesting. And, yeah, overall, I thought this was relatively good. Charlotte Flair really telegraphed who was going to win this match once she mentioned, I'm going to challenge Io Sky at Fastlane after I win this match. Like, okay, you just kind of gave away who's winning the match right there. But, yeah, overall, I thought this was relatively good. Asuka as a babyface really came out of nowhere. It's really weird, but whatever. What did you think of this?
Yeah, Asuka being a babyface came out of nowhere. It was definitely very odd. But, yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
It's whatever. Then John Cena calls out the Bloodline. John Cena talks about how, originally this was supposed to be a tag match, but then his partner got taken out, and he says that he could easily just rip up this contract and just forget that this ever happened. Or he could just do what his shirt says and never give up. And he says that, I think you guys know what you want me to do. It would have been funny, though, if he actually did just rip up the contract and he would just be like, oh, never happened, goodbye. He just leaves. Like, that's how they write off John Cena. He just like, yeah, this never happened.
Yep.
Yep. I was never
Goodbye.
here. I was never here.
Yeah, fuck you all. Goodbye.
That'd be funny. But then Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa come out and they attack John Cena. John Cena does the best he can to fight them off, but because it's 2-on-1, he's not very successful. Eventually, Solo Sikoa is about to jump off the top turnbuckle and plant Cena through the announcer's table. And who runs out but none other than LA Knight, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
He runs out, he attacks Jimmy and Solo, and he signs a contract. He's going to be John Cena's tag team partner, and that's the match at Fastlane. John Cena and LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. This is awesome. Really happy for LA Knight for getting this spot. He's essentially going to be the main event of the show, and that's exactly where he belongs. And I hear he's going to be the next guy that challenges Roman Reigns for the title, which I think is awesome, but I feel like it's a bit soon for that. But again, I don't know when else he can really do it because Roman's dropping the title at Mania to Cody, and there's no other time in between that to do that. But, I just hope it doesn't hurt his momentum. As long as it doesn't hurt his momentum, I'll be okay with it, but, we'll see. But I look forward to see the promos between LA Knight and Paul Heyman, and I look forward to see Roman Reigns is not going to stand a chance on the mic against LA Knight. LA Knight's going to own his ass. Let's just be real. So, this is going to be awesome. I'm really excited about this. This does make sense, too, just because of what they did at Payback a few weeks ago. So, overall, how did you feel about this little segment right here?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved every bit of it. Let's go. Cena and LA Knight against the Bloodline. It's going to be awesome.
And LA Knight's going to get that win, and everyone's going to be happy about it. LA Knight will be happy. I mean, the only one that won't be happy is Roman Reigns and, like, Jimmy Uso and stuff. But, that's the price you got to pay to push LA Knight. So, Overall, SmackDown was awesome. I'm giving that an A. I think the only thing that would have changed is just the placement of the U.S. title match. That should have gone on later, but whatever. How'd you feel about this?
I give it an A too. Again, like Raw and SmackDown were both excellent this week.
Yeah, all the shows were good. So,
and it's just it was really good. I loved it. It was a really good show. Seeing it close it out feels like old times again. Loved it.
Let's do some predictions for next week. I'm trying to remember what's even advertised for.
I don't even think they advertised like anything.
So for Raw, we're going to have Tegan Nox challenge the winner of the NXT title match. We'll predict for both outcomes if it's Becky Lynch who's winning.
If it's Becky Lynch winning it, well, it's Becky Lynch anyway.
Yeah. Well, what if it is Tiffany? So you'll have an off chance they give it to Tiffany Stratton who's winning.
Tegan Nox.
Okay. Jey Uso's going to face...
I never would do that, though. If Tiffany Stratton's going to win, she's not going to lose it on Raw to Tegan Nox. But if Becky wins, I can see Tegan winning, though.
Okay. And then we have Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. This is a tough one to pick, but I'm going to pick Jey Uso because main event Jey, he's awesome.
Main event Jey Uso.
There you go. And that's everything that's advertised for Raw. Only like 2. Oh, and they're doing a contract signing between Walter and Ciampa. How do you see that playing out?
You can't. Who's gonna win this segment? Like, you can't predict that either.
But do you think, like, when do you think the IC title match will happen? Do you think it'll happen on Raw the week after? Do you think it'll happen at Fastlane? Do you think it's going to happen at Level Up, main event? What do you think the IC title match will happen?
The main event of Level Up.
There you go.
Nothing happened at Fastlane.
Yeah, we'll see. And then we have stuff for SmackDown announced. We're going to have Dragon Lee versus Austin Theory. I hope they give the win to Dragon Lee here. I think that's going to be awesome. So, what do you think?
Yeah. I think Dragon Lee is going to get the win.
And they did announce, by the way, I forgot to mention this, because LWO got interviewed after they were attacked. They announced there's going to be a 6-man tag between LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. And no offense, I don't think Joaquin and Wal Mendoza are going to be the partner. I think Dragon Lee is going to end up being the third partner. So that's why I think he's going to get the win next week. Do you agree with that, or do you think that's not going to happen?
Yeah, I think Dragon Lee, for sure. If Dragon's in the match, yeah.
So that's why he needs a big win against Austin Theory. I mean, he's Mr. 2 Million, man. You got to get a win off of him, right? So,
Mr. 2.
And I think that's everything that's announced for SmackDown. I don't really know anything else. I don't think there's like a U.S. title match announced or anything like that. So, that's everything.
Yeah, they don't really announce shit like ever. They used to announce it all the time. They never announce anything anymore.
Yeah, it's just it's okay though. No one's complaining. I'm gonna watch anyways. I'm gonna watch next week. I'm gonna watch the week after that, then the week after that, then the week after that, then the week after that. Not the next week though. I'm not watching the next week. But then the week after that, and then I'm not watching for eight years, and then I'm gonna come back. That's a good.
Oh shit! That's like a pretty good. That's a consistent schedule.
Yeah, that's a great. I'll watch for 3 weeks, and then I'll watch for 20 years, and then I'll right before I die, I'll watch like the second. Like I'm gonna be on my deathbed, just about to die, and I'll just quickly try to. Rather than I just miss out turning it on. Right when it gets on, I just die like right before the.
You missed everything.
Yeah,
you missed everything.
What about you? What's your schedule when it comes? Are you gonna do my schedule? Or are you gonna do your own? Or you have your own schedule? You're gonna do.
I'm gonna watch this week. I'm not gonna watch again for another 1,000 years.
And if you're still somehow alive in 1,000 years, are you gonna watch again? Or
no, I might watch it.
I feel like too. You're just gonna watch like the Level Up next week too. You're not even gonna watch anything.
Match.
Huh?
Where it's at.
But anyhow, that's everything we have to talk about. Let's do some plugs and little promotions right here. Anything you want to plug?
Pluggermation!
Is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Enjoy it, people. Whatever it is that you're doing, enjoy it.
What if it's killing people?
Life. Enjoy life. It's fun.
So I guess enjoy killing people, I guess. You said you did say whatever it is you're doing, just enjoy killing people, I guess. So
yeah, I guess they can. If they want to do that, they can do that.
I guess so. Well, what if I'm one of those people?
Well, then that's too bad.
What if you're one of those people?
It could be.
All right. There's some good plugs. We have AEW Spark being recorded tomorrow. It's going to be the go home week of Wrestle Dream. We have a couple of videos next week. We're going to do AEW Spark just covering Wrestle Dream, and then WWE Aftershock Extra covering No Mercy and NXT the next week. And then we're going to do WWE Aftershock covering the go home week of Fastlane minus the NXT stuff. And then we're going to do a WWE Aftershock Extra shortly after that covering just Fastlane. And then WWE Aftershock post Fastlane. And then we're going to do a retro, not for Fastlane, just because we don't have time, but we're going to do some type of retro. Chris is allowed to pick any wrestling show that he wants, that we haven't already done, obviously. So he can't pick, like, WrestleMania 10 this year, because that's already been done. So you're going to have to come with new stuff at the table, buddy. And then Wrestling Rundown is being recorded October 8th. It will probably be up. Since James is uploading it will probably be up like October 11th. Probably October 15th. And then, yeah, I think that's everything. Just enjoy wrestling. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And since this is being recorded in the past, we will talk to you guys in the future.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.